in several communities throughout the southern part of the province. B&A Petroleum is available for all your bulk fuel and lubricant needs, with propane at selected locations Monday to Friday. And don't forget, their Cardlock location is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
Are you looking for endless entertainment? It's all here on Crave. It would be impossible to name every show and movie on a list that's endless. But let's try. We have exclusive HBO originals like The White Lotus and The Penguin. Oh, you cannot miss that. The biggest blockbusters and hit reality series like The Traitors. Oh, Crave is also the only place to stream your favorite shows like Shoresy, Friends. Wait, did I mention the Harry Potter film series? There's so much more. The list goes on forever. Crave, endlessly entertaining.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar. 35 years of experience moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit KELLNsolar.com to find out more for your livestock operation. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
We made it through another weekend. I'm back. It's Monday. It's for Kellen Solar, like he said. It's the Sportscage for 3 hours. Barney Shinkera, Colson, Curtis, and my co-host today will be Chris Mazurek joining us in moments. We got 3 hours for you. We're going to recap the NFL weekend. If you sense the disdain in my voice, you are observant. We'll go through all that. Hopefully you want to talk about it. You want to engage at 936-6262, the text line. Lots going on locally on the weekend, too. We're going to go through the SJHL, the WHL. An NHL trade kind of took everyone. Everyone was surprised by that one on Friday, and Friday of all days. Eric Francis is in hour 2. He'll talk about that. We got our clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park. Darian Durant joins in hour 3. Lots of football to talk about with Darian. He's been on the shelf, though, for like a week. He's had whatever that sickness is that's going around here. They're not immune to it down in Florida. So Darian will be with us. And a whole lot more. Curling wraps up in Kindersley. The skip of the provincial team going to the Briar, Rylan Kleider, is going to join us also in hour 1. Just confirmed. Good work on that one, boys. Chris Mazurek, like I said, is my co-host today. I'm a desperate human being. I went with a Patriots shirt. If you're watching the stream at sportscage.com, I was like, I'm wearing something Patriots today. Screw it. Just to make me feel better.
Well, I mean, ultimate optimism to be a Patriots fan. With Mike Vrabel as your head coach, I mean, at least there's hope there. Drake May.
It's not because of that. Because the Chiefs are... And now at this point, they might win. It's everyone's, what is it? What's the odds here? It's tight, not quite a pick 'em.
It's a 1.5 spread for Kansas City.
Hey, Philly. The only thing I'm telling myself, I just told some guys this morning. I used to have a really good friend from Philadelphia. Beauty of a dude. His mom and I still kind of talk once in a while on social medias. He passed away. Great guy. That's the only thing now that I'm holding. And I'm like, hey, I'm going Eagles. Let's go. What's the Eagles slogan? It's not let's ride. Let's fly. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
And get a bench press in and be crazy for a week. I can't. Can we let's just start NFL here. First off, the Eagles-Washington game. It was like we were watching Alabama and Sam Houston State. Like, it wasn't even close. It's too bad, though, right? Because it's like Washington turns the ball over a number of times, similar to how they beat Detroit. And it's like bizarro world. The first play of the game for the Eagles, like Washington just grinds.
You had to know, because Washington drives down the field, a lot of plays, short plays. Jane Daniels looks good. They kick a field goal. Philly comes out for first play from scrimmage, Saquon Barkley. And the numbers were crazy for a Saquon Barkley anytime TD yesterday, let alone 3, let alone 7 rushing touchdowns. And I'm like, it's going to be a long day for Washington, because I think Philly is dialed in. I don't think anybody expected 78 points yesterday.
I don't know why. I am embarrassed of the bets that I placed this weekend. Downright embarrassed. It was hard to even look at them last night. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just take the over? What were you thinking?
Did you honestly take the over under was 47.5, because I checked at the end of the first quarter.
I didn't touch them. I played the games.
Well, no. Oh, okay. Because I'm like 47.5 was the over under on that game yesterday. So taking the over 78 points. Like, I thought the Eagles were going to win, but the Commanders, they shot themselves in the foot. Nice story. And then there were some Detroit fans online be like, well, you guys had a chance, but you fumbled the ball when it mattered most. And that's why Washington's in that game.
And they came out, and it's like, yes, look at this methodical march the field. Everything looks good. And then Philly gets the ball, some bad tackling. What was it? Wagner, they said, fell down. Or he missed the tackle. And he scampers in for a touchdown. And it's like, I don't know. Colson, Curtis, to each their own. But Maz, it was like putting in the time in high school to just go to one dance with that girl. Or what? Just you put in and then new guy came to school, jock, all good looking, bingo, just like that. It's like, well, I put in 6 months here. Hard work, perfumes. Remember when Eternity came out? Everyone wanted that, wasn't it? Eternity? And then, just boom. One play, down, scores. And then from there, to be honest, I fell asleep in the fourth quarter. It was... Yeah,
it was tough to watch. It was like, all right, start doing other stuff, waiting for the next game to start, Chiefs and Bills. But here's the thing today. We could be talking about Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills and him cementing his greatness, because they had a chance to go down and beat Kansas City. They had the ball last if they wanted it. They could have, after Kansas City kicked that field goal, but here was Josh Allen, and here's the difference between the Tom Bradys and the Patrick Mahomes, and I'll say Aaron Rodgers and the Brett Favres. Anybody can do it in clutch time. You had your minute and a half to drive the field, just kick the field goal to tie the game, but you still would have lost. To score the touchdown, cement greatness, but you didn't. And then the Chiefs did just enough, as they always do. All they needed was a little first down, and here we are, Kansas City going for a three-peat.
Okay, and I don't need anyone to agree with my takes on it. This is how I saw it. Josh Allen was so puckered up early in that game. Mm-hmm. He was off. Just where are you throwing it? What are you doing? That happens. Okay, you don't expect it to happen at that level when he's been there for that long. You got to have some shrinks. You got to be able to mentally be strong enough in that moment. Okay, then can Buffalo why do they have to make everything so difficult? They're that family member that everyone is tugging one way, and then it's just got to go the other. What are you doing? Why are you making this Christmas supper so difficult? And it's like 4th and 1. Everybody, the tush push, everybody's doing it. It seems so simple. Josh Allen's too tall. Then put in someone smaller and just do it.
Or do like Philly does. Put 2 guys behind Josh Allen to push him across. Don't let him go on his own. If you're going to do it, do it. And I agree, I 100% agree. Every yard they gained yesterday was the hard way, where Kansas City could easily get yards when they needed to and all that. And did you know on that 4th down play when they threw up that prayer to, is it Dalton Kincaid?
Yeah.
What do I want to say that? Do you know that was the only time that Kansas City blitzed yesterday? Steve Spagnuolo saved his only blitz for the final offensive play that Buffalo had. All game they showed him nothing, and then they brought it and...
There were 2 things that I said to my 13-year-old son as we watched that game. I was actually quite impressed that he was that invested with me to watch Kansas City fall, because my 11-year-old daughter's sitting on the other chair in her Kansas City Chiefs sweater because she's a Taylor Swift fan, and she is rubbing it in our face. She was chirping like she played 4 years junior B hockey. She had all the good chirps down, and we're just sitting there. So then I go, they're going to come up with some crazy blitz here. They're going to blitz them. And Buffalo's not going to be prepared to run a play against that blitz. Nope. It was more just scramble back like your Fred Flintstone and just heave it up to Kincaid. What is that? You did not know that defensive coordinator for Kansas City, who has always seems 2 steps ahead of everybody except for Belichick and the Patriots, that he wasn't going to do something like that. That's outcoached. And then, even though it was the longest of longest shots, Kansas City just consulted away, and they lined up. This is under a minute left or whatever it was. Here's the play right here if you're watching the stream.
Yeah, here's the play.
Just heave it. Kincaid could have had you. But let's not blame Kincaid. That's the coaching. What are you doing? That was the call. That was the play. Blitz from the corner. Hey. Scramble for your life and just heave it up. Like, that's bad coaching I'm just saying me. Secondly, the Chiefs under a minute left and Roman's sitting on the chair and they get a first down and it's kaput. It's over, right? You think they could have held him a field goal or whatever it was. And they line up and I go, watch this. There's going to be a guy wide open in the flats.
Yeah, because they're going to sneak him out of the backfield. And Kansas City, that's not a new play. They've been running at Buffalo.
They ran it in the Super Bowl last year. They ran it in the Super Bowl last year.
I know. That if Buffalo would have ran that when they needed a first down, sneak a guy out of the backfield, make it quick. And then the other thing, too,
no. Hold on, Maz. Buffalo would have made it so difficult. They would have tried to audible out. Josh Allen might have tripped on himself. They would have had a guy coming in motion late. They would have just made it difficult. It's an easy play. Everybody clear out. Guy sneaks out of the flats and just dump it off. No, Buffalo would have made it way difficult. Buffalo would have tried to probably have a pass it behind your back, Josh.
If Buffalo would have won, hey, I'm all for it to see somebody new in the Super Bowl. But you can't be mad at Kansas City because look at on that Mahomes touchdown. It was a design quarterback sweep with 2 defenders out front. Why didn't they run that with Josh Allen instead of clogging up the middle where Chris Jones lives and just wrecks offenses? They should have spread everybody out like Kansas City did. It widens it out because are you going to run? Well, look at Patrick Mahomes. They spread everybody out. You have 4 wide. There's lots of room to run. Next thing you know, he's in for a touchdown. And the best part about that touchdown is, did you see Patrick Mahomes try and spike the ball? He couldn't do it. He ended up. Here it is right here. This is one of the worst spikes ever. Watch him get up, and here. And it's like it slips out of his hand. He throws it. I will say one of the most encouraging things yesterday, and maybe the world is changing, very little Taylor Swift coverage during the game. I get it when they score, but we didn't need to be going to her every third shot, every time Kansas City did something. So as a fan, I'm okay with that. And why does everybody hate Tony Romo? I have no problem with Tony Romo. It's no different than Chris Collinsworth when he's gushing about somebody.
Collinsworth's way more annoying. And even when he used to foam at the mouth for Tom Brady, as a Patriots fan, I used to be like, dude, shut up. You sound like you're not supposed to sound like that on a national broadcast. Yeah.
Couple of things. It's funny when you watch a play in real time and you see it happen, and then you have your instant reaction. The one to Worthy with 2.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Yeah, I don't think that was a catch because I think the ball touched the ground.
Oh, we have that.
And then the Josh Allen, I'm like, I think he got it there. I think he got it, and then he didn't.
What the hell is going on?
And people are going
with that, by the way. Honestly, does the ball hit the ground? My eyeballs say that ball hits the ground there.
I know. On first blush, when you watched it live, you're like, I think the ball hit the ground there, and nobody kind of had it, and then they were fighting for it on the ground. So I would call that a draw. That's calls have been overturned for less. I have more of a problem with that than I do the Josh Allen. Because with Allen, unless it's that kind of stuff happens no matter what level of football you play, if it's not definitive, it can always come back on you. So you better get, they only needed inches. You should have got a yard.
How tall is he? 6 what?
6'4", 6'4", I think.
You cannot, come on. This is it. This is it. You can't get that yard when you have been abused by this team for how many years in a row now. You can't will yourself to get that. And then the one ref, they're off by a half a yard on. One ref comes in running this way. The other ref comes, it's like, oh, what's going on here? Is this, is this 6-man ball in Aberdeen?
Because looked like on the camera shot from where the referee was standing, they had it, but then he got overruled by the other referee. And then somebody put up on Twitter, I didn't notice this, but apparently the lines at McMahon Stadium in Calgary are painted crooked. So they're like, are they using the CFL lines to mark this first down? Because you could see it bows out. Because somebody made a diagram on there, and I'm like, the internet's always undefeated. I love it. Here's the sad part. And my wife's like, so, and I'm like, well, it'll be Philadelphia and Kansas City in the Super Bowl. I said, the thing that I'm sad about as a football fan, there's only one game left for a while until CFL gets going. That's the part where I'm, most sad.
Did you see the promos for spring football? What is it? AFL, UFL, whatever. They ran a promo, and I was like, that's still a thing? That's still a thing?
I tried.
And then
I tried last year.
And then they're just trying to hammer down our throats the CBC new series Watson coming up after the game. No one wants to watch TV shows anymore about some doctor. Watson coming up.
Speaking about stuff.
Can I say one more thing? Travis Kelce was non-existent in the game for the most part. Again, smart coaching.
Yeah.
Smart coaching.
Till the end.
But this is how bad Buffalo's coaching is. On the one play, they had, who was it? Hamlin? Hamlin was man up on Kelce. That's what someone is getting paid money to make calls, and they said, yeah, this is a good matchup. It would be, I don't know, it would be like going to kindergarten and telling someone to man up on you. And like, what do you do? And if I went to my 84-year-old mother and said, do you think this is a good idea? That guy covering that guy, man, defense should say no. What are you doing, Buffalo? And they were depleted. So that's where I was like, I think it's we needed Baltimore I shouldn't say we. Anyone that didn't want the Chiefs in, you needed Baltimore there. I think Buffalo was a little on the banged up side.
Well, no, Buffalo was running the ball. Buffalo was running the ball with Cook, and then all of a sudden they go away from him. He wasn't even in on that final drive. The guy has got you most of your offensive yards, and you don't have him in on the final drive. I don't know who the Buffalo's offensive coordinator is, but there's a lot of people, because people are saying Sean McDermott should get fired because he can't get him over the hump. I'd be looking at that.
No, I'd clean them all up.
Buffalo.
But there's no one. What are you going to Mike McCarthy?
Yeah.
For some reason, is still available as a head coach. Pete Carroll just walked into Las Vegas chewing his gum. Yeah. What does my buddy call him? Hold on. It's like, oh, he got hired.
Speaking of things they're trying to drive down your throat. I'm sorry, I don't know who Kendrick Lamar is, and he's doing Super Bowl halftime, and I don't care. I am not going to Google him. He's not a country artist. I have zero interest in Kendrick Lamar.
That's what it was funny. Gabrielle goes, well, maybe Taylor Swift. Dad, this will be good. Maybe Taylor Swift will play Super Bowl at halftime. And that's not how it works, for starters. And Roman goes, they already got it. They already got their act. Kendrick Lamar. She goes, who is that? And I was like,
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Didn't The Weeknd play the Super Bowl? He's a Canadian.
2021, the COVID year.
That was odd. He's good. That was odd.
Can we rewind to the Grey Cup for a second? Because this got me thinking. It was in Vancouver. Doman's got tons of money. Jonas Brothers? No. Bryan Adams, yes. You should have got Bryan Adams. Was there anybody I get it. He lives in London, England. Fly him in. Nobody more Canadian, more Vancouver.
Just because you guys don't
here
know
comes
who,
the Kendrick here comes the Kendrick Lamar apologist club right over here to give us a Kendrick Lamar update. I'm assuming.
I'm not even a fan, but just so you guys know, He's the 12th most streamed artist in the world right now. So
the world's an absolute mess.
yeah.
So don't use that as your measuring stick.
What happened?
Yeah, you seen what's going on in the world these days?
Like
The Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl.
Trust
That's
me,
not happening in the
you
world,
guys.
right?
You want 1980 and 1990 to come back. It's
All
not
right.
going to happen.
Cool.
Those were good times.
I could care
I'll
less
take
about
men were men.
1980. I
Anything-
was around in 1990, so I'm okay with that.
Now, anything pre-2008 seemed the world seemed to be clicking on a lot of cylinders.
Persnickety.
times.
That's what my buddy calls Pete Carroll. Is he chews his gum, all cocky, like, "Hey, Persnickety's back in the NFL." I'm like, yeah.
Here's the one smart thing that the Raiders did do at Pete Carroll's press conference today, because I watched a bit of it. They had Max Crosby there. Because for a while, if you're Max Crosby, he could easily said, "Get me out of here. This place is a mess." But Crosby's the only chip that you have in Vegas, because the rest of your roster, does anybody know who they are outside of Max Crosby? No.
Yeah. Buffalo. I wonder if they'll clean house there. Buffalo's that person that you have just take the freeway. No, we're going to go through town. We're going to try and beat all the lights. No, just take the freeway. No. What took you guys so long? When we went through town. Hit a train. Bunch of lights. You guys are dumb. Let's take a quick break. We got some Rider news when we got come back.
Yeah.
We got Rider news.
The sad thing is, though, is that
news.
will Josh Allen, if this continues, is he going to be like Dan Marino? Great career, never wins a Super Bowl. Because he's playing in the wrong era of Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm.
He looked so defeated on the bet. Like, I felt really bad for him as a human being. What do we got? Are we going to play something? Yeah, let's hear from him after the game. This is a sad. Well, then we'll go to break. This is a sad man talking.
It's not fun. But to beat the champs, you gotta to beat the champs, you gotta beat the champs, and we didn't do it tonight.
Nah, could have had a better quote than that.
Isn't it to be the man, you got to beat the man? That's Ric Flair. Woo!
How about what the hell are we doing? Calling certain plays. Let's throw everybody into the bus at that point. Don't even give the 24-hour rule. Be the crazy hockey dad. Screw it. I'm going to talk to him right now. Whiskey on my breath. Lunatic. It's the all-new Sportscage, streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
Oh, it's freezing. I think we're going to turn up the heat on trades at Capital Ford Lincoln. How would you like a brand new vehicle for the same or similar payment to what you got right now? Well, with the help of a giant $2,500 trade-in bonus, it's doable. That means prices are as low as $170 weekly plus tax on a brand new F-150. Plus, Capital's 100K giveaway is back. Check out capital100k.ca for your chance to win amazing prizes. Capital Ford Lincoln, proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
Bidding is now open for the large timed online land auction for Laborde Enterprises near Stoughton and Mydale, Saskatchewan. Register to bid at macauctioncompany.com. Up for auction are 23 quarter sections of farmland and oil surface revenue in the arms of Simri and Tecumseh. Got land to sell? Call the Saskatchewan Land Auctioneers today. Bidding closes on the Laborde land this Tuesday, January 28th at 10 a.m.
We want your business on board for the Harvard Media online auction. It's easy. All you've got to do is provide items like gift cards, experiences, services, or whatever cool product you have. And in exchange, we'll give you a world-class marketing campaign. No entry fee or cash outlay. Just a good old trade deal. That hammer could be coming down for you. Just hit up harvardmedia.com and join in on all the excitement. Terms and conditions apply.
The all-new Sportscage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
For Kellen Solar on Mondays, 35 years of experience moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. You can visit kellensolar.com to find out more for your livestock operation. Big week wraps up in Kindersley. Nancy Martin wins the women's side. The Saskatoon Nutana foursome, the Prairie Pinnacle Provincial Women's Champion. 9-7. Over Regina's Jolene Campbell. We'll talk more about that in a moment. On the men's side, it was Rylan Kleider, and he joins us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Free delivery right now. Orders over $25 from Western Pizza Express. So have you come down from the high yet, Rylan, or what's the last, 12 hours been like?
Yeah, it's definitely still setting in for me. Just kind of got home this morning, and taking it all in still.
Stephen Laycock, he's been around power when it comes to curling. You're in that game, and it's funny because we're talking NFL, we're talking guys under pressure right now. How did your team and you handle that pressure yesterday?
Yeah, I think we just kind of relied on some experience from last year being in the final, and we played in quite a few bigger events this year. So just going back to the basics and just kind of doing what we've practiced all year to do.
What's it like with the pressure of being that Saskatchewan rink going to the Briar?
Yeah, we're excited. We can't wait to wear the Saskatchewan flag on our back, and we're gonna definitely represent Saskatchewan proud out there.
Hey, Rylan, it's Maz here, and Barney just alluded to it. The Briar in Saskatchewan, and that trophy has eluded us for a while, as I'm sure you're well aware. But you're only 26, which I couldn't believe. Now you've got the curling weight of the world on your shoulders for Saskatchewan. Do you guys talk about this kind of stuff in the off season or before it gets going and setting goals to be like, okay, this is where we got to be, and what's the mindset going in? We're going to win, it's win or nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. For us, the Tankard, first of all, is one that we kind of have circled on our calendars, and that's one that we work to peak towards. But then looking forward to the Briar, that's another step for us that we want to take. And yeah, we're going to be going there and giving it everything we got with the goal in mind, knowing that we can win, and that's what we're going to go there to do.
We never want to single anyone out, but let's talk about your team and how the week went. You got to have guys at certain times curling well, making good calls, all that stuff. Maybe give some shout-outs and some praise to your guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Our front end, Trevor Johnson and Josh Lematter, and they're sweeping machines out there. There's a lot of power on the brooms, so they're getting the rocks into the right spots. And Matthew Hall as well, calling great line on my shots just to kind of to wrap things up. But yeah, overall we played well together, and it was a great week.
So now, how do you prepare now before the Briar? Do you this being a little bit new, I guess, for you guys? What's the preparation going to look like?
Yeah, I think we'll take a day or two off here, and then we'll be right back in the gym and on the ice, sort of leading up to it, and just managing our reps, making sure we're getting good quality reps in leading up for the next few weeks.
Well, Rylan, I know we only have you for a bit here, but congratulations. Like Maz said, right? You get to wear that Saskatchewan flag at the Briar. What was it? Rick Folk, the last guy?
Yeah.
Maz, back in the 80s. What a legend.
1980.
That is, 1980. All right. So, Rylan, go and get the job done, okay?
Awesome. Well, dude, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Right on. The Rylan Kleider. Joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline is Nutana foursome, Josh Mattern, Matthew Hall, and lead Trevor Johnson. Not the Trevor Johnson from Davidson. I don't think that I played hockey with back in the day. Matt, that's the pressure in curling. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. Yeah. All joking aside, watching it at a Briar, I remember my dad used to just swear at the TV when curling was on. The Olympics. Anything big, it's like the 12-foot putt for a golfer. or that tee shot.
I suppose probably one of the things, because, and keep in mind, curling, the teams change all the time, but the goal is the same. So outside of football season for the Riders, that people get delusional about, this guy included, curling is that other thing where you get delusional for the province, where you want the men or women to win so bad. And 1980 and Rick Folk, and there's a lot of people that remember that, but that was a long time ago, and how much that game has changed. You just heard Ryland say, we're going to take a day off and then we're going to get back to the gym and then back on the ice. And I'm like, and that's the difference between it being a social game to now this is a professional sport where there's so much money involved now. Outside of these championships, because my in-laws, if there's one thing that if you ever want to talk, is curling and tennis. They will go 9 layers deep. Oh my God. Huge Roger Federer fans.
Old school? Like I was up with McEnroe? Like, come on.
No, they loved Roger Federer. I know more about Roger Federer and his wife and his twin kids that I care to know, but they love that. So when it comes to curling and they'll rattle off, okay, there was this cash spiel here and this person did this and this person's won so much money so far this season. Oh, and this is a big one here. And they're going, and it's kind of like, how the game has exploded. And we got so close last year, if this could be the year, sooner or later, somebody's going to break that streak.
Well, we got Mike McEwen's rink, and now we got Kleider. So we've upped our odds for a chance of a Saskatchewan champ at the Briar. And then, getting back into the gym. Like, imagine Rick Folk in 80. Like, he was going maybe to the men's club at the Y for a steam.
Sure. So speaking at the gym, and I've mentioned this on the show before, at the Planet Fitness I go to, there always seems to be a group of guys out front smoking cigarettes. I'm sure that nobody at Planet Fitness corporate wants it that way, but that's just how it plays out. So yesterday I go, and you know this because we've laughed about this before. There's always that one guy in the gym working out wearing jeans. I go in, I walk past the 3 guys in cigarettes. One of the guys, the smokers, ends up being the guy wearing jeans. It was 8:30 on a Sunday. So did you not pack? You just were going to wear jeans anyways? Or did you honestly legitimately forget them? Because I get it, we've all done that. Forget your headphones, forget your lock, forget your runners. But you just
what's his usual go-to? Because there's no way that guy wears shorts. His other go-to is either cargo pants, probably 90% chance it's cargo pants, or sweats with possibly cargo pockets.
Yeah, I know. But there's always that one guy in jeans, and yesterday he just happened to be one of the smoking trio that was out front.
Does he have
chest lot of chest and arms yesterday. That's every gym anywhere, but
is he shaky milkshake or protein shake guy, or else the guy that walks around with an 8-liter jug of water that you almost need a wheelie cart?
No, they're not the gym bag crew. We're the guy that walks around with the belt and the chalk and the gloves and the 8-liter water and the drink going. But also to all the guys in the gym and the smokers, and they're nice guys. Like they're not in the way. They'll help out. Hey, they're not and they're pretty good about it. But it's really creeping in, and you can see it all over social media. Those people that are trying to film videos of themselves working out, and I don't know if they're trying to start social media reels but it's kind of like, come on, you can't be mad if someone walks through your shot, okay?
Curtis, is that what you do at the gym? Influencer kind of content guy?
To be honest,
with Kendrick Lamar clips over top of your bicep curls?
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, I haven't been to the gym in 12 months.
Oh.
I'm about to restart my New Year's resolution, so you'll see me there.
The Harvard auction coming up in a couple of weeks. There's gym memberships in there. Downtown Fitness, nice steam room. You can get a steam in. And the one I thought about this the other day, speaking of gym, while we're on the gym topic here, a gym segment. What happened to guys that used to hang over the bench or whatever bench it was and just do wrist curls? No, wrist curl guy. Preacher curl, still respect that guy. Wrist curl guy.
They don't even have the preacher curl thing at the gym anymore. Like, it's funny what got modernized out and some of the old stuff is gone and some of the new stuff that's come in.
Like a pec deck. Pec deck used to be like the lineup for the pec deck.
Now, what would the lineup be? There's more cardio than ever before. But to me, if you're doing cardio, but you're not getting your heart rate up, if you're just kind of slowly walking, to me, you're wasting time. The only thing, and this is serious, for Black Friday, I bought an app. It's a fitness app that has routines on it and different exercises. So you just plug in what you want to do. And it's just an AI cartoon image. You just follow along. So you're not lost.
I got to get into yoga. Like people are our age, people are swearing by yoga. Was it you and I that was talking about it?
Yeah, like we were talking about this last week.
I think it's what a guy needs at this age. Now what? Kendrick Lamar.
No, it's Andrew Harris was saying that to AJ Ouellette, let's work down the gym, do some yoga.
Don't squat 700 pounds, just do yoga.
I can count on both how many times I've done squats in my life. When you have the Ukrainian genetics, like the last thing you'd wanted was leg and butt exercises. Because you couldn't, before stretchy jeans, like back in the day before jeans had a little elastic in them, like they do nowadays, no deal. And you got to try to put on a dress pant. And you got this massive slachka and legs. Nope. Stay away from squats. I'm cardio. That's all I do now is not like the walking cart. I'm whatever's in between running and walking. That's what I do.
Here's the thing. And I don't care who you are, they'll say you can't outrun a bad diet. You can't. No matter what you do, as much cardio as you want, you can't outrun a bad diet.
But you also can't eat like a rabbit, because when it's all said and done, which could happen at any day, it's like I don't want to eat celery for supper.
Do you want to go even crazier? There's a guy named Sean Baker. If you're really struggling, you want to lose some weight, you want to do something crazy, there's a book called Carnivore. You ever heard of the carnivore diet? All you eat is meat.
That's huge now.
You'll never feel better. I did it for a month last year. The best you'll ever feel. You got problems, they'll go away.
Anybody.
And the other thing too is
it's like the low carb or the keto. People just put the weight back on plus more.
And you got to have electrolytes.
Guy, whatever.
And here's the thing.
Guys got to eat. Have a sub, assorted cold cuts once in a while. Slurpee, chuck a chew in.
The good thing about how the world has changed and how everybody thinks everybody else is like a weirdo and get away from me because I'm going to call the cop. What it has done in the gym, it's cut down on people trying to give you fitness tips of how to work out properly, or if they see you do something, be like, oh, actually, you're doing that wrong. It's like the free fitness trainer guy that used to come along all the time and tell you how to do those curls properly, or, oh, you need to do this, or straighten that back up. That's gone away. And it's a good thing. That free in-gym fitness tip guy.
Man, there's some old school stuff that California Fitness. If you had a California Fitness tag on your keys in the 90s, you were a baller. Okay,
and if you use the tanning beds at California Fitness and you're still alive to tell about it, your immune system is you don't need another shot in your life. You're good. You made it through that. You're good.
Worst day ever when your batteries in your Discman or Walkman. Oh, I'm out of batteries. I gotta listen to whatever they had there, and then it was like tube TVs.
Speaking of that, I got Apple iPhone headphones for Christmas. The pods. I'd never had them before because I still have like corded ones. And I'm at the gym and I didn't realize, but one of them, the battery was run down and it had 4%. The other one had 100. So I'm like, first world problem. Didn't know what to do. Nothing to listen to.
I might get I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying this. So the Apple AirPods, this could save someone's year. They're a scam. There is a website that people go to. I think it's on one of the social media engines that people go to. And I'm not going to say the name of it. And you can buy Apple AirPods. Are you ready for it? For $20. and they're legit. So everybody in our family has them. We give them out at gift exchanges at Christmas.
Oh God! Well,
I'm serious.
Of course you do.
They are a scam. They're $20, and I'm just going to leave it at that. So anyone that in Regina that knows exactly the site that I'm talking about, and it's just shit. You got to go to this. You got to go to this house and pick it up. It's super shady. But you and I. That was growing up.
What I had to get out of that when I married my wife, when everybody had an illegal satellite dish back in the day, and you're going to dudes' houses, and you're like, come around to the back.
Curtis said they're stolen. And the wrapping that they come in, it's all hidden, and then you unwrap it, and then you unwrap the first box, and then it's like, oh wow, there's the Apple box. It's mind-blowing. Back to curling after all of that. Saskatoon's Nancy Martin. She was the winner on the female side. Did you read this? It's on sportscage.com. Great articles by Randy Palmer. The victory was made, it says, even more heartening for the Martin foursome, overcoming a touch of adversity. Regular lead Deanna Doig suffered a hip injury late in the tournament, sidelined. She's out. Ooh. So Colleen Ackerman stepped in, did a great job there. And then Greg, who co-hosted from Piffle's podcast on the weekend with me, did you remember this one, Colson? That the three-man team? Remember we talked about there's a three-man team?
Yeah.
Did you know about this, Maz?
No.
Three-man team at the Tankard was in the it was the Kalhoff, wasn't it? Kalhoff. Yeah.
Kaltoff.
Kaltoff. They made it to the semifinals. Just 3 dudes. That's impressive and could be groundbreaking, innovative. Well, heck, why do you need the extra guy when you? I'm very curious to see how that plays out.
If you're splitting prize money to buy illegal Apple EarPods, 3 ways is better than 4. That's for sure. Nancy Martin, they're off to the Scotties Tournament of Hearts.
Where is it?
Not exactly the most it's in Thunder Bay. I'm going to say it's not the most picturesque place in Canada. And pack heavy, because you never know. The weather in Thunder Bay in late Feb could be atrocious.
Yeah. I've never been to Thunder Bay. It's supposed to be really nice in the summer, isn't it? We got to avoid a mosquito season. It's like northern Saskatchewan. There's that heavy mosquito season, and then fall would be nice. No? You're shaking your head. I don't know. Take a padlock.
Out of all the flights I'm going to take in the near future, it's never going to be to Thunder Bay or Winnipeg. Sorry.
Let's come back with a little CFL news. Riders signing a Super Bowl and Grey Cup champion. It is the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com and on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
Please, sir, can I have some warmth?
Warmth? You want warmth?
You didn't call Busy Bee, did you? Now it's winter and all the homeless rats are getting in.
I wish they had fixed that door then. It's dreadfully cold.
Go over there and eat your gruel. They gave you more. If rats are getting in your garage, just call Busy Bee. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
Please, sir.
Shut up. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
0% financing or instant discount. The decision is yours to make at Future Ford in Melville. Right now, you can get into a brand new 2024 Ford F-150 and get 0% financing up to 72 months or get $8,000 off the price. Plus, as a bonus from Future Ford, they're throwing in free oil changes. If a new truck doesn't fit your lifestyle or needs, no problem. Get 0% financing for up to 60 months on select Escape, Bronco Sport, Mustang Mach-E, and more. Check out their website, futureford.ca, and see their great selection today. The future is Future Ford in Melville.
Bidding is now open for the large timed online land auction for Laborde Enterprises near Stoughton and Mydale, Saskatchewan. Register to bid at macauctioncompany.com. Up for auction are 23 quarter sections of farmland and oil surface revenue in the arms of Simri and Tecumseh. Got land to sell? Call the Saskatchewan Land Auctioneers today. Bidding closes on the Laborde land this Tuesday, January 28th at 10 a.m.
SaskToday.ca is your local news source, proudly serving communities all across Saskatchewan. Sask Today's team of local journalists are on the ground focusing on local topics that matter to you. From agriculture, local community news, sports, and more. Find it all at SaskToday.ca. Sign up for our daily news digest at SaskToday.ca. From Harvard Media, everywhere.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Okay, it's going to a run here of local content, starting with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They signed Super Bowl and Grey Cup winning defensive lineman Shane Ray today. Maz. Never heard of him personally. Not big Sugar Ray fan. Shane Ray, but he's got quite the resume.
He does. So when I read the press release, you would have to assume that they're probably moving on from Anthony Lanier and they're not going to be offering him a free agent contract because Shane would be coming in on the defensive line. And everybody loved Lanier. It's just that for the money we were paying him, and the production we were getting, because he was hurt the past couple of seasons, could never really play a full 18 games. So that instantly, that's what I thought. So Shane Ray starts NFL, wins a Super Bowl in 2016 with Denver, then comes up to the CFL, plays with the Argos, wins a Grey Cup there in 2022, goes back down to the NFL for a couple years, and now he's back in the CFL. What is he, 6'5", 6'3", 255?
6'3",
from Missouri.
255.
Yeah. I like the signing. It's good. CFL experience.
He would know Mace.
Exactly. And it's that familiarity of day one. He'll probably be able just to slide right in and just get right back down to work without having to learn a new system.
I like it. Good signing. There you go. All you, what's Jeremy O'Day doing? Blah. There you go. There's another. Chalk it up on the big board. Good signing. What about in Winnipeg? They release veteran receiver Drew Wolotarski. Yep. How do you say his last name?
And Wolotarski.
But he's due for a bonus. And Greg was saying.
I know. And the other thing too is if you missed it on Saturday, they said, "Hey, Adam Bighill, we're not offering you a contract."
Yeah.
So if he continues to play, and I don't know that he will because he got hurt in that Labor Day game. He's got a life in Winnipeg. He's a financial advisor, I believe, and he's got a family and stuff like that. But yeah, Winnipeg, obviously they're not taking the BC Lions model of who cares about the salary cap. We're just going to sign everybody. Wolotarski, 7 years in the league, intriguing, but he doesn't fill our need. He's not a speedster. He's a possession guy. We need a speedster. We need a number one wide receiver.
Like I said, chatting with Greg today after he was heckling me about the Bills, and he was due to make $110K this year. That's like, why wouldn't you keep him for $110K?
But if they can bring in guys that they only have to, if they can bring in guys that they can pay 60, if they've got in the pipeline.
Yeah,
because Willie Jefferson got a raise.
You're going to say you're going to risk $50,000 to maybe bring in a guy from your pipeline, or a guy that can get the job done, that that can just take lick after lick. That's Buffalo Bills dumb.
But here's the other thing too. Dalton Schoen's a free agent, I believe, so they need to re-sign him. So they need that money. Yeah, and Lawler. So, and keep in mind, they found Schoen somewhere. Wolotarski. Yeah, it's funny. Great game, crappy business. It's a great game. It's a terrible business.
Hockey locally. We called it. It was the Southie Mainline Chrysler Worth the Drive game of the week. Weyburn hosting Flin Flon. The Red Wings beat them in overtime. So
in overtime.
Yeah. So technically the streak's in your last 10. 4-game winning streak. So that was a big one. We called it. Weyburn then doubles up Yorkton 6-3 Saturday. Like I said, the Wings are buzzing. Drew Kosher, first win in Estevan, 7-4 over Kindersley on the weekend. And the MJ and SJHL Showcase is on this week. That's why there's no games.
Yeah.
We have the court with Benny Walchuk coming up tomorrow for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks, worth the drive every time. So Benny will give us the latest on the MJSJ Showcase.
Do you think it had anything to do with the rink leak? Why Weyburn's doing so good now?
The ammonia leak? No,
Yeah.
absolutely nothing.
Villain origin story, you know?
Yeah, there was the fine folks in Assiniboia that turned things around. No, Weyburn's been good all year. They just that was the game that you get up for, right? They're coming in. They would have been, they were on a little. That's the third game in the swing too for Flin Flon. But Weyburn would have been. Cody Mapes would have had those guys revved for that one. I'd like to know what the crowd was for that one Friday. Should have been a good one. Western Hockey League report for Extreme Hockey. The new CCM Vision sticks and gear have arrived. So if you're kids or you've been itching for the new CCM Vision line, it's in at Extreme Hockey right now. Also, the Yeti sale continues. The local shop supporting local always will be Extreme Hockey and Sport in Regina. The Pats 3-2 shootout win over PA. Mm-hmm. People around the rink. I'm at the rink. It's like, what are they doing? What are they doing? Well, they're still competitors. Everybody. We got to get Schultz. We got to finish last. We're still going to have a chance. Moose Jaw's got it. Moose Jaw's pick is with Edmonton. Seattle's pick is with Edmonton. And the Pats are right there. The Pats, their travel to PA on Wednesday. The ever popular trip to Prince Albert on a Wednesday. Speaking of PA, they bounced back with a 4-3 win over Saskatoon Sunday. So now they're 2 points. You've looked at the standings, Maz? They're 2 points up on Saskatoon now.
So PA and Saskatoon have that role, and with the Calgary, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, and even in their own division, if you're going to do anything, you may have to play spoiler. You may have to be wrecking other people's dreams, because I don't necessarily know. The Blades aren't climbing back into first place in the Eastern Conference. It's just not going to happen because everybody's loaded up and everybody's good. Lethbridge has really turned it on. So now you're going to have to muck around and just be kind of that team that screws things up for everybody else.
I said, I didn't obviously get a chance to watch it, but I said that game Friday, Medicine Hat Spokane, would have been a dandy to watch. Medicine Hat's doing the swing in the U.S. right now. 3-2 Medicine Hat over Spokane in Spoke. They're 2-0 on that trip now. How about Swift Current? They're doing the British Columbia trip late in the season. They started on the island, and then they're working their way back east.
That's a tough bus ride from Swifty to Victoria. Call your agent. Get me out of here. That's awful.
5-4 win in Victoria, then a 3-2 win in Vancouver. Go Broncos. Now, if it gets better, you drive up to Prince George. Move the team to Penticton.
What was that one kid's name that got traded to Prince George at the deadline? It's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not playing hockey. I'm done playing hockey. I'm not going. I don't blame him. Just logistics alone. I mean, trust me, in the radio business, there's some awful places to work to be like, nah, I'll find something else to do. I'm not going there. No. When you're young and dumb,
I'll go work at the gym.
Listen, probably get free smokes outside, wear jeans. I got a lot of jeans.
You'll be bum a smoke guy. Don't never buy your own. The Blades now 52 point. It's going to get real interesting. If you get a chance, go check out the WHL standings in the Eastern Conference and you see where things land. Red Deer Rebels are in town Friday. We're doing the show live from the Brand Center. Dave Strush, old buddy Dave Strush, coach of the Regina Pats, coach of the Saskatchewan Blades. I texted him today. He's going to stop by the show. Looking forward to a chat. He had a sweet Trans Am when he played with the Blades. Did you know that? It was like the guy.
I know, but do you think that was like NIL payoff money before NIL payoff money that he got a Trans Am for free for playing for the Blades?
Seafood Sam's is kicking him a little something on the side. Quickly, we got 30 seconds. I want to give AAA Midget shout out. It says the Pats C's hosting Notre Dame tonight, 8 p.m. a rescheduled game. Big win for the Pats C's in Saskatoon over the Blazers on Saturday night. That was a meeting of two of the big dogs. 7-5. Kid by the name of Maddox Schultz. He had 2 goals, 2 assists. They tell me he's pretty good. Taylor Tabashniak had 31 saves in net. And then shout out Estevan. He had a big win over Moose Jaw on Sunday in the AAA ranks. Females, AAA, the Rebels 5-4 over Weyburn on the weekend. Get this, Maz. Cedar Swan and Berlin Lolliker. 2 goals, 1 assist each. How about those for 2 of the best names that we've mentioned on the Sports Cage ever? Cedar and Berlin.
Cedar. Like Cedar S or CEDAR, like the wood?
I think so, yeah. And then Berlin, like the band.
First of all, the double C should laugh because I asked you a spelling question. If there's anything I should never ask you is how to spell. Or somebody's first name after you've just met them. Because those are 2 things that are not happening. Hey, Barney, this is so-and-so. And like 4 seconds later, what was that guy's name again?
Lily. You look like a lily. It is the Sports Cage. We're streaming at sportscage.com, and we're on 620 CKRM.
We are 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station, broadcasting live from downtown Regina.
Good afternoon. It's mostly sunny and it's -3 in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News. Police are investigating a crash on Highway 1 that left the driver dead. Police were called about the crash on Saturday night. The driver was the only person in the vehicle when it crashed and rolled near Parkbeg. The driver has been identified as a 48-year-old from Dinsmore, and their next of kin have been notified. Public Safety Minister David McKindy says Canada is making great progress in beefing up its border security amid the threat of U.S. tariffs. Ottawa promised a $1.3 billion border security plan after U.S. President Donald Trump said that he would slap Canada with a 25% across-the-board tariff. McGinty says he will be talking with Trump's new border czar and the head of Homeland Security.
The first thing to keep in mind is it's a very strong border. It's one that's evolved over 150 years of relationship. It remains the longest undefended border in the world, and we intend to try to keep it that way. I think our American colleagues share the same view.
U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chair James Risch says the border package is welcomed but tardy. Economists expect the Bank of Canada to lower its key interest rate by 0.25 percentage point on Wednesday to 3%. The drop will mark a slowdown after the central bank cut its key rate by 0.5 percentage point twice in a row in October and December. Canada's annual inflation rate fell to 1.8% in December on the back of federal government's temporary tax break. The Bank of Canada has lowered its key interest rate 5 consecutive times since last June, with Governor Tiff Macklem saying it would rein in the pace of cuts moving forward. Canada Post and representatives from its union squared off today at a federal inquiry into a recent national strike and the viability of the Postal Service's business model. Canada Post CEO Doug Ettinger spoke to the Industrial Inquiry Commission, saying a change is needed now if the Crown Corporation wants to remain solvent.
We are facing many challenges, but we very much want to position this company to respond to those challenges, doing so in partnership with our bargaining agent.
The head of the Canadian Union of Postal Workers says Canada Post is misrepresenting its financial picture. More than 55,000 workers went on strike on November 15th. And the United Nations is marking the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz concentration camp. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said in New York today that the world must never forget the Nazi atrocities committed during the Second World War.
Remembrance is not only a moral act. Remembrance is a call to action. To allow the Holocaust to fade from memory would dishonor the past and betray the future.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was in Krakow, Poland today to mark the anniversary. That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Sask Lotteries has 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Help us grow the next 50. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
Get it hot, get it fast. Western Pizza. At Western Pizza, you can order online. Nothing overly crazy about that, right? But you also get free delivery on orders over $25 for a limited time. Now that is kinda crazy. Pizza, Caesar salad with satisfying garlic toast, baked lasagna, crispy chicken wings, and every other item on their extensive menu. Visit westernpizzaexpress.ca and get free delivery today. Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste.
And get it hot, get it fast. Western Pizza.
And now it's time for your 620 CKRM precision weather forecast for Linex Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street. Tonight, partly cloudy and a gusty northwest wind with a low of -3. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny and a high of 0. And on Wednesday, morning cloud, afternoon sun, and a high of -1. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's partly cloudy. Winds are from the west at 28 and it's 0. Regina is mostly sunny. Winds are from the southwest at 24 and it's -3. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
Farm equipment keeps getting bigger and bigger, so the doors on your farm buildings have to keep up. Hi, I'm Terry from Zipperlock Building Company. At Zipperlock, our buildings can accommodate up to a 24-foot high door without expensive changes to the building's steel arch design. So when it comes to farm equipment storage, Zipperlock is head and shoulders above the competition. Zipperlock Building Company, built in hours to last a lifetime. See us in Raymore or call 1-888-692-5515.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar, installing solar in residential and commercial buildings for 35 years. Local and trusted. Kellen Solar. Visit KELLNsolar.com. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Hour 2 of the show. Barney Shinker, Chris Mazurek in the CNC production company is with us here. Just looking at the schedule today, it was a cool bit. We have some decent games in the NHL tonight. Kraken in Edmonton. Connor McDavid is back. Oh, he's going to go off. He's so angry from that little break he had. Pittsburgh, San Jose, who cares? Vancouver, St. Louis, interesting game. What's Vancouver? And then we got Eric Francis coming up here in a few minutes. What's Vancouver going to do?
Yeah. And Eric, it's funny. I want to ask Eric. Eric, when I was on with him last week, he said something and it triggered me, but like not in the not in like the Colson and Curtis triggered way that my life is going to melt down.
HR?
No,
not running.
It triggered me to do a little research and think, and it has to do with the Four Nations Cup and Canada because he mentioned a certain name, and I'm like, had to do a little research.
It is a good place to watch hockey tonight. Is the Canadian Brew House? They got dry rib Mondays, $9.99 cracked pepper and sea salt dry ribs, $1.50 off tankards, and Michelob Ultra. Ooh. There you go. Canadian Brew House. 2 locations in Regina and 1 in Moose Jaw. Also last week with Eric Francis, we talked about turtlenecks. So we might have to go back into that. Let's go out and talk to him.
It's time to talk hockey on the all-new Sports Cage with NHL analyst Eric Francis. Brought to you by South 8 Mainline, the Mainline Automotive Group's newest king of trucks. South 8 Mainline, just 30 minutes north of Regina. Worth the drive every time. Guaranteed.
These are the kind of guests we like. If you're watching the stream, he knew what to do. He showed up today with a 12 out of 10 turtleneck. And you said, screw it, I'm buttoning it right up to the top.
Right up.
Yeah. I'm that intro took a little too long. I got to unbutton the top button or two because I can't breathe.
Did your son see that?
No, not yet. I don't want my kids to see me like this. But you know what?
He's probably going to walk in thinking you broke your neck or something.
Yeah.
He's like, Dad, were you in an accident?
This is an old sweater that I forgot I had, and I haven't worn it for years because I don't do the turtleneck part up, but you can see that it's quite formidable. If it's a really chilly day or I'm expecting to block shots, this is the kind of thing you wear.
Next time you go for a beer league skate, please wear that under your gear. Take a quick picture and send it to us. Legendary stuff. What of all things, that trade comes down on a Friday. Like, talk about from left field, talk about a weird day, and just now that you start reading about it, it makes sense on what Colorado is doing. What's your initial take?
Well, especially hearing from the player today, again, he kind of said, look, like, I thought we had lots of time. Like, I was willing to come down off the amount of money I was asking for. And he was asking for $14 million a year, apparently.
Oh, my God.
Which is, matches what Draisaitl makes. And I get it. The cap's going up. I've long said, look, Rantanen to me is a top 5 to 10 player in the NHL, period. He is that underrated, in my opinion. Like, never gets his due because it's always just, riding McKinnon's coattails. So I think he's an incredible player. Maybe we'll see. Maybe he'll be exposed and maybe he's not that good. And maybe I was wrong in Carolina. But he's got enough supporting cast there that I think he's going to continue to be a 45-goal scorer every year. Listen, maybe it's a cautionary tale for anybody who's negotiating to go, hey, be careful when you start playing real hardball. Because if you really do like where you are and ultimately your goal is to stay there, someone might call your bluff at some point in time. This was a poker game gone awry for Rantanen. I genuinely think he wanted to stay there. Him and McKinnon were like best of buds. They played together all the time. They were incredible together. Those two combined with Makar made them a cup contender. I'm not sure they've got enough depth outside of those three to do anything. And I definitely don't think they do now that they've made this trade. But wow, you have to almost feel sorry for Rantanen. But at the end of the day, he got caught up in a game that he was playing himself. So blame his agent, blame the player, whatever you want to do. They thought they had lots of time. Well, guess what? In a game of poker, time runs out real quick.
Well, and the thing was, when this happened, I instantly. We'll get to the Taylor Hall being the eternal afterthought in every trade in the NHL in the past 10 years. But Joe Sakic, don't test Joe, because I think you messed with the bull and you got the horns. Okay, thanks. We're moving on. You're out. Bye. And do you think that other general managers are going to see what Sakic did and are not going to be held hostage? Because that's how I feel with some of these guys. Well, everything and all this and comparables, and that they feel pressured into doing it. Do you think this is going to embolden other GMs to maybe take a hard line and say, okay, we'll try and live without you?
Well, I think, I hate to bring everything back to Calgary, but, what happened with Johnny Gaudreau leaving here, different circumstances, but, him ditching this team at the 11th hour when they literally thought all along they were going to get a deal signed. It was such a cautionary tale, and it prompted the Flames the very next year, 2 weeks later, to trade Matthew Tkachuk, because it's like, no, we can't play these games anymore and risk losing guys for nothing. So I think the takeaway from all this, other than the game of chicken and the cautionary tale that it is for the players and the agents, is, teams no longer are willing to just take a chance. You either sign on the dotted line or we're trading you, because we can't go into the summer wondering if we're going to lose a franchise player for nothing. Now, that brings me to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mitch Marner does not have a deal right now. I don't know where that's at. I don't know what kind of game of chicken's being played there, but I do know that the player legitimately wants to stay there long term. And if you really legitimately want to stay there long term, be careful. Don't be the next Rantanen you may want to sign for a little bit less. But the other thing I just want to say at the end of the day, if you don't really care where you are and you really just kind of think you want to see what you're worth, by all means, do what Rantanen did. Rantanen's going to get $14 million plus on the open market. I would put my life on it, but he's not going to get it in the city that he wanted to get it in. So, the trade-off is he has to go somewhere else. He'll make an extra $3 million a year, though. So who really loses?
Is there anything? What is it? Stan Kroenke owns the Avalanche.
Yeah.
Are the Avalanche under like an internal cap? Like, are they? I don't want to call them cheap, but are they? Tight with things.
The short answer to this is that I wouldn't say he's cheap. He's one of the wealthiest owners in all of North American sports, but he has kind of made it clear to the group that we're going to operate under our own little cap. It's not going to be what the league maximum is. Not just that. I mean, I think that he could probably have been convinced that if he thought his team had all the possibilities of winning a cup, that he'd probably go to the max again. But with Makar do a raise next year. And Makar's going to make more than both of those guys by quite a bit, if you ask me, and should. We saw with the Edmonton model, putting all those eggs in 2 or 3 baskets is kind of it doesn't necessarily work. I mean, I know the Oilers were close last year, but for a lot of years, teams that have got 2 or 3 guys making the bulk of the money, I'm not sure that's good for team chemistry, morale, and moving forward, I'm not sure it's the way a lot of teams want to go.
It blew me away that when we looked last week, and I'm sure it's probably the same today, that the Carolina Hurricanes are, for a future bet, they got the second, best odds, I guess, behind the Oilers. Did this make Carolina that much better? And then talk maybe about the other pieces in the puzzle, like Maz said, like Taylor Hall.
Yeah, Taylor Hall's a nice addition to that team, in terms of depth and, leadership. And I think Carolina's a deep team already. And I think that, they swap out Natchez and Drury and they bring in Rantanen. Like, I still think that they come out ahead. They got the best player in the deal by quite a bit. Listen, I heard rumblings this morning talking to a guy about it. If they can't come to terms with Rantanen by March 7th, there's a possibility they would trade him, which I think would look absolutely ridiculous on, after giving up all these sort of these assets. I think it'd be ridiculous if they did that, but, they would look bad. But I guess it's a possibility if he doesn't want to. And just judging by his body language so far, and it's early, and he's in shock for sure. I'm not sure he's really all that excited to be in Carolina right now. We'll see.
That'd have been fun to get a copy of the call to his agent after that. How the hell did you let this happen?
Well, I mean, if you look at the interview when they got Nathan McKinnon's reaction. I guess it was after practice, and you could just tell he lost his best friend. Like, he's just down. He's like, it's understandably. And he wouldn't look up at the camera. And it was, so obviously it caught some people by surprise. Probably one of the bright light stories from today, a little good news. And it's a guy we talked about last week, and we'll get to how you triggered me. Logan Thompson of the Washington Capitals signs a 6-year kind of, what was that? Like a close to $6 million-ish a year contract extension with the Caps. Great to see. Stanley Cup champion. And Eric, last week when you brought up the Four Nations Cup, did you tell me that he didn't even get a look or didn't get consideration? Not at all.
Didn't get a phone call. Nothing.
Okay. So, and then you mentioned Kelly McCrimmon. To me, Kelly McCrimmon, not only being, a Western Canadian, Sasky, all that, just a good hockey guy.
Shout out Dodsland, Saskatchewan. Plenty.
Exactly. He knows how to construct a roster for how hockey is played these days. So I checked, who's the brain trust for the Four Nations Cup for Canada? You've got Don Sweeney, Jim Nill, and Doug Armstrong. I really like Doug Armstrong. How he was able to assemble that team that won the Stanley Cup in 2019, that's great. The other two. So if we were to slide Kelly McCrimmon a piece of paper across the table and there's 21 or 22 spots on there. Say you fill out Team Canada's roster. I wonder what Kelly's roster would look like. Okay, because I bet you Logan Thompson would be one of those goalies on the Kelly McCrimmon list. All right?
Wow.
And so that makes me wonder. Yeah, exactly. He knows how the game is played today and what it takes to win. And I'm not convinced that Don Sweeney and Jim Nill are the two most plugged-in guys for hockey in 2025 in the NHL in constructing a roster.
Well, I mean, look, Nill's got an impeccable resume. I'm not going to throw shade on him at all. But, look, if we all had a chance to submit our 21 or 20-man roster, they'd all look different, right? Look, the biggest weakness was goaltending. Going into this, it still is. Listen, I think we live in a country right now where collectively we're all kind of hoping one of those three goalies does the same thing as Pietrangelo and says, you know what, guys, I'm going to save myself up for the playoffs. I'm going to take a pass on the Four Nations tournament. I think we'd have a parade in a lot of different cities because we may finally be able to squeeze in the best goalie Canada's had this year, which is Logan Thompson. Now, maybe there's too much water under that bridge. Maybe he wouldn't come. His quote was, and I just read it again this morning, even if they do have an injury, they won't be calling me. Now, I don't know if that means some terse. Yeah, I don't know what we should read into that. But, in light of the fact that all he's done since they named the team a month ago is just keep on winning with the highest winning percentage in the league by a mile, you'd have to go to Logan Thompson if you had another goalie do-over, wouldn't you? You can't go to Marc-Andre Fleury. It's a nice sentiment and playing in Montreal and all that, but I thought we were trying to win this thing, not trying to, sell newspapers or whatever the case is.
Maybe something happened. Maybe there was an exchanging of words or text messages. Maybe, yeah. I don't. Okay, so Pietrangelo's out. So now, are we going to see Mackenzie Weegar in there?
I thought so until Drew Doughty made it very clear in the media yesterday to the LA media, like, I want to play in this tournament. I'm ready to play right now. And my guess is he'll suit up for the next game for the LA Kings. Like, I knew that he was dressing. I knew he was skating with the team. I've been following it closely because when I was in LA a couple of weeks ago, I wanted to sit down with him for just this very story. And he politely deferred because he wasn't doing media because he wasn't skating with the team yet. Well, now he's skating in a non-contact jersey, in a full contact jersey. Like, he's skating, and he's probably going to play in the next game. So they have until the 11th to announce who the next defenseman is going to be. That's the day before the tournament. And my guess is, while we may not know until the 11th, they're going to drag this out for quite some time and then tell whoever it is just before the tournament. And they're doing that, I think, because they want to see if Drew Doughty can return to any semblance of the form that he's had over the last 15 years in the league. And if he does, he is the natural guy to replace Pietrangelo on that roster. So I think Weegar is a phenomenal pick and should have been picked on the team originally. That'll sound like I'm biased because I'm in Calgary, but I can tell you that he's one of the most well-rounded. He's one of only 4 guys in the league this year with 100 hits and 100 shot blocks. And I know you don't win this tournament based on that, but you have to have some element of the gritty play or else you're going to lose because it's not an all-star game. So I think Mackenzie Weegar should be the guy, but I think Drew Doughty, they'll defer to him. If he looks good, it's his job to lose.
That's why we have him on. The insider, Eric Francis, he's got stories like that. It's brought to you by Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southie, Saskatchewan, worth the drive every time. Are we going to see, and you guys can both answer this, first to you, Eric, are we going to see other guys maybe saying, hey, I need the break, I'm out, make a call to somebody else?
Well, Maz and I spoke just the other day about how Austin Matthews, in all good conscience, I'm not sure how he goes and plays in this tournament with all the injury issues he's had this year. If I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs, I'm asking some serious questions to him about whether he thinks he's ready for this or would he be better served with a 2-week vacation in Maui. I think I know the answer, and I think everybody else knows the answer, but it's up to Austin Matthews and the medical staff to kind of come up with an answer. Look, these guys they've been itching to play best on best for so many years. We've been itching to see it as fans and media. And I guess I can't really come down too hard on a guy who decides he's going to take a bit of a chance. But man, you're getting paid an awful lot of money by your employer to kind of snub them and play in a tournament when it could be a possible. Like, can you imagine the outcry and what a hit his reputation would take in Toronto with the fan base if he got nicked up in this tournament in particular and then couldn't play in the playoffs or down the stretch? So your question was, will we see more guys bow out? Yeah, I do think some guys will bow out, but I think sometimes, for the most part, it's going to be under tremendous duress from medical staff and maybe even ownership groups.
So I'm not sure if it was on Saturday or maybe it was yesterday during the Flames game. They put up a graphic that since the rosters were announced, the top 5 Canadian goal scorers since it was announced, none of them, and there was guys that have scored 12 to 15 goals, I think. None of them are on the Team Canada roster. And as far as diehard Oiler fans, if there is that injury, a lot of people are saying Zach Hyman should have been on the team in the first place. But it was kind of funny to see that all that firepower in the NHL over the past month, 6 weeks, nobody's got a spot on that team. All the guys that are scoring goals these days. Do you think Hyman would be a shoe-in if a forward comes available?
It depends who's available, because I think Scheifele's been even better than Hyman of late. And I feel like Scheifele... Who?
Tom Wilson.
Well, yeah, this is what I mean. It depends who's hurt. Like, if Brandon Hagel's hurt, then you go with Tom Wilson, because Hagel's going to play kind of more of a tenacious brand of hockey. If you're missing a center, then it's Scheifele. If you need a winger, then you go with Hyman. You know what I mean? Like, it all depends on the role that the injured player or the player who's no longer in the tournament plays. So, look, the Hyman one to me, going into the start of the season, yeah, absolutely Zach Hyman's in there. He's gritty. He plays a million different roles. But the season he had up until a month ago was horrific. And he's been playing shotgun with the best player in the world, and he still has horrific numbers. So I couldn't make an argument for Zach Hyman being on this team a month and a half ago. Could I make it now that he's back to his old form? Absolutely I could. But it needs a winger for him to replace.
Do you think Connor McDavid goes off tonight in his first game back from his prison
I thought you were going to ask if Connor McDavid's going to go to the Four Nations. I was like, whoa, no, there's a hot take.
Could you imagine what if Connor decided to get back at Gary Bettman and go, you want to suspend me for 3 games? I think I got a high ankle. I think I'm going to sit this one out. Sorry, Gary.
Oh my God.
Sorry about
NHLPA would jump in.
I know. Hey, look, everyone's looking to see how he reacts when he gets back in the lineup, and how mad will he be, motivated, rested, all these things. Yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to have a burr in his bonnet, but it's not like I think he's going to go out and crush somebody else in the face or hit a guy. He's not going to do that. But yeah, he might go out for 4 points. Just another night for Connor McDavid.
We asked Farhan Lalji about this last week, and then it sounded like JT Miller was close to getting moved to the Rangers late last week, and then that didn't happen. What is your take on what's going on in Vancouver? And how does this play out, and when? Like, do it now. Like, what do you keep putting Band-Aids on this for? No? Am I whacked?
What an absolute circus. I can tell you that the Flames love watching this from the other side of the mountain. Just saying, yeah, you guys, that little circus you got going there, keep juggling those balls and bringing out the fire breathers, because it is a mess and it hurts their game. Like, that's a far more talented than their record indicates this year, and it's all because of this internal strife and how it gets out that a trade almost happened but didn't happen. Like, I that is absolutely, like, hey, I'm in the media, so I want leaks like that. I love it when we get them, but I just think what an absolute nightmare for an organization to have that get out, that he was hours away from not dressing because he was going to go to the Rangers. And then there's rumors like 3 days later that Pettersson is imminently going to be traded. Like, first of all, make up your mind. Pick one of the two. You're not trading both of them. Pick one of the two. And in terms of when it's going to happen, I don't know. I'd say rip the Band-Aid off. But you got to get the right deal. That's the most important thing. I just find it all so comical and to the advantage of the Calgary Flames, who are supposed to be in a race with these guys right now.
So the Pettersson Miller thing, is it just a personality clash that they just don't get along? Or is there something concrete that happened? Like, why can these guys, we all have employees or fellow coworkers that maybe you don't vibe with, but you can still work with. Maybe you don't talk with or go for lunch, but it's fine. Is it personal? Is it hockey? Like, what is the rift? Why is
it's not the Patrick Sharp, Duncan Keith rumor from years ago. Oof, remember that bad one? Oh.
I don't remember
right
that.
off
What was that?
No,
I don't.
We can talk about that after Eric's gone. You and I can talk about that.
I'm back again.
I think he didn't want any of that smoke. That's why he's like, I'm clicking off this thing.
Sorry,
Is he back?
Yeah, it's Jim Rutherford keeps calling me. I'm like, I'm going to say it, Jim. I'm just going to say it out loud. No, look, hey, I'm not in that room. I don't know all the ins and outs of that situation. I haven't dug into it. I really don't care. I just think it's up to this organization to end this little spat or whatever it is. It might be about turtlenecks. I don't know this for sure, but it could come down to something as silly as turtlenecks. I don't know. But the fact that you're holding an entire franchise hostage because of whatever's going on, that's on management to me. That really is.
In closing, Maz and I, you seem like a kind of guy, you play tennis, play some rec hockey still, go to the gym. Maz and I were talking earlier. Maz was talking about the guys that smoke outside his gym, and then the guy that smokes goes in and works out in jeans. And I'm like, of course. Like that.
There's always a guy in jeans, Eric. You know that. Any gym you go to, there's always one guy in jeans. Always.
Or cargo pants.
Or cargo
It's like you
pants.
go to the pool. You go to there's always a woman at the pool when you take your kids that she's dressed inappropriately, like she's at a day club in Vegas, and be like, "Hun, that is the wrong bathing suit to be wearing in public." Okay, we're not like, cool. Cover that, cover up, please.
Yeah, well, if you're the jackass that goes up to her and tells her that, then I'm pissed off at you.
I didn't say anything.
Because what's the problem with that? I got no problem with that sort of attire, but wasn't it the Zubaz pants? Weren't they called the Zubaz pants? Like back in the day, like
those were awesome.
The Cincinnati Bengals stripes on these big pantalons, like ridiculous.
By the time I was of the age to go to the gym, the guy that was wearing Zubaz was the cheese ball, probably worked the back door at some local nightclub.
Yeah.
That muscle shirt belt for sure. Zubaz,
the belt,
he had the lift belt. And then probably not straps. He went gloves. He was gloves. But I said to Maz,
easy. I wear gloves because I don't like touching the weight. If you've seen me, be like, dude, you should touch weights and a lot more of that. But I just, for whatever reason, I just don't. So I wear gloves. I won't make fun of gloves. Straps and chalk, yes.
What do you wear those white ones that Phil Pritchard wears when he carries the cup around?
No, they're black.
Ridiculous.
But with the fingers cut off.
Isotoners. Oh my God.
Yeah, like you wear the ones like when you're like riding a Kuahara when you were a kid. Like
yeah, you never do the strap up either. Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know that you were that guy. Did you do that before the pandemic, or is this a pandemic thing? You did?
No. Yes, I wore them before the pandemic.
See, that's how we close. That's how we close it. Little gym talk here.
Yeah. Good talk.
Okay, Eric. We'll talk to you. I get to talk to you on Wednesday again.
Can't wait.
Right on. Nice turtleneck. Way to step up the props. Way to step up the props.
Always. Hey, still just a little. There it is.
Yeah.
Look at that. Now that's a recall. If you missed that bit back in the fall, that's worth going back in the archives.
If you're watching the stream, he just showed us his blockbuster card. Yeah, that was a great bit. Eric Francis, our NHL insider for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southie, Saskatchewan. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed. Still got the $25,000 off remaining 2024 inventory. You can save up to $19,000 on 2024 heavy duties right now. Plus, they got the Jeep Compasses, the 2024 model, starting at just $34,900. $949. Saudi Mainline Chrysler, worth the drive every time, guaranteed. Quick break. We are streaming. It's the Sportscage streaming at sportscage.com.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
On the farm, dirt doesn't just get under your fingernails. It runs through your veins. Your equipment is just as tough. You bought it for its rugged dependability and efficient operation. To keep your machinery running as good as the day you bought it, you want genuine AGCO parts, fluids, and filters from Nick Service. Their friendly parts staff has what your equipment needs to keep it running at the top of its game. Keep it genuine at Nick Service, your local genuine AGCO parts headquarters.
Two-Way Service, your Ford dealer in Southie, has been a proud family-owned dealership for over 50 years. Right now, they have deals going on to get you ready for those winter roads ahead. Save $16,000 on the new Expedition. Save up to $14,500 on new F-150s. Save $7,000 on the new Bronco Sport. And save $15,000 on the new Bronco. Plus, get a trip for 2 to Vegas with the purchase of a new vehicle. Two-Way Service in Southie. Just 30 money-saving minutes from Regina. TwoWayService.com.
Louis Dreyfus Yorkton is expanding to meet the growing canola demands of tomorrow. If you still have canola to market, LDC Yorkton offers nearby space with highly competitive basis levels. Don't miss the LDC Next Era program, which still has a few acres available for this crop year, offering extra premiums on top of those great basis levels. Canola deliveries are accepted Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. LDC Yorkton, a name you know, a name you can trust. Call 1-877-782-8882 or visit LDCYorkton.com.
The all-new Sports Cage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
Clutch performer time for Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Call 781-1077. No way I'm going with the Buffalo Bills coaching staff. Let's go. I'm going to keep mine local. Then you guys can go. Mine, let's go first off with the Saskatoon foursome. Nancy Martin from the Nutana Curling Club, along with Shaylin Stewart, Kadrina Lott, and Colleen Ackerman. They are the provincial Viterra Prairie Pinnacle. That's a lot there. Prairie Pinnacle women's champions. Picture in a pack. And then on the men's side, it was Rylan Kleider. We talked to him in hour 1 of the program. You can go back and listen to it in podcast form once Colson gets all that done. And his foursome of Josh Mattern, Matthew Hall, and Trevor Johnson. They are going to the Briar in Kelowna. The women get to go to Thunder Bay, and the men go to Kelowna.
Jeez.
Tough one.
Yeah, my clutch I'll go Ryan Kleider, clutch performer. I mean, he's 26, and he has the weight of the world now on his curling shoulders for Saskatchewan. We haven't won a Briar since 1980 in Rick Folk. I'm sure he knows that. I'm sure they all know that. And could you imagine? 45 years, that's more than a dry spell. That's a drought on top of a drought. We're 4.5 decades into this bad boy. So they know what's ahead of them. And then I'm going to go take a little left turn for my clutch performer. It's funny, Saudi Mainline, sponsor of Inside the NHL with Eric Francis. So last week on the show, we were talking about how in the city of Ottawa, they have made idling vehicles for more than a minute a ticketable offense, which to me, the lunatics are winning. The woke is winning. So my clutch performer today, outside preschool, dropping off Kai, there's a dad in a Ram 3500. And it's a nice day today in Regina. It's not super cold. What are we? Like 0, -2. It's not -30.
Yeah. It was one of those days where it was like hot in the sun and then in the a little bit chilly. It's almost I almost needed galoshes.
So coming out this morning from the drop off, that Ram 3500, it was a nice truck too. Idling. Okay, it's the morning. It's a little chilly. Pick up at 11:30. Same dad, outside, truck, idling. And it's nice and warm. And I'm like, sir, thank you. Thank you. We need more people like you. My
Should have
clutch
got his
performer
name
today.
Should have got his name. We could have given him a clutch. Colson,
Well, I
who do you
could.
got?
It was really weird because most days there's a lot of moms that drop up, but today it seemed to be dads. So I don't know if everybody.
.48 saves. That's good on any game day, regardless of the results. So, and then my other one here, which we'll have video for it in a second. Charlie Lindgren plays for the Capitals. Their goaltender.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing the Canucks. I believe it was a couple days ago. Let me double check that now. Capitals versus Canucks. Yes, it was Saturday. So Capitals were down 2-0. Needed a tying goal. So Charlie is looking towards the bench. When am I gonna get pulled here? And he's starting to work his way towards the bench, and they turn the puck over in the neutral zone. And I'm really hoping the video pops up here because it'll look great. But turns the puck over in the neutral zone, and he has to dive back to make the save.
Oh yeah, I saw this. This is awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Lays out, catches it with the glove, drops it for his guy. They still lost the game, but that's like...
Oh, that's a tough spot as a goalie, eh? And the coach that called him, and that's a good one. If you're watching the stream, ooh.
Hey, he's no Dalton Kincaid.
Is that it? Anyone else got another one?
That's all mine.
I'll go. You know what? I'm going to give the girls again. AAA female loop. Rebels 5-4 over Weyburn yesterday. Regina Rebels. Cedar Swan. Love that name. And Berlin Lolliker. 2 goals, 1 assist each. There's our clutch performers for the fine folks at Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Call 781-1077. Hey, Maz. If anybody's out there listening and you know what's going on tonight at the Al Ritchie Arena, because it says there is a Junior B game this evening. The Saskatoon Quakers and the Regina Caps, which they played on Saturday. I can't see the Quakers being in town. A lot of those guys work and they go to school, but it says it on the website unless I'm seeing things. But Regina team's had a tough weekend in the Junior B loop. Silver Foxes lost 8-1 to the Wesleys, and the Quakers dumped the Regina Capitals Saturday 5-2. Big milestone tomorrow in the Junior B ranks. You want to give a quick plug and we'll mention it again tomorrow, Colson?
Yeah, so we got a message on our Twitter page, X page, that the trainer for the Capitals, Davin Husband, is celebrating his 900th game worked in the PJHL tomorrow.
Wow.
So
in the jungle.
Yeah, big shout out to him. We'll keep doing that tomorrow because it's tomorrow night. So
900.
But yeah.
Good job. Good job.
I
think I met him actually on the weekend. He was folding towels, getting water bottles ready, doing all that. Dressed up nice, shirt and tie. That's impressive. That's impressive. Yeah, so maybe more tomorrow. Like I said, if there's a Junior B game tonight that you know about, let me know. Senior, I wanted to mention this, Maz. We had the senior report on Friday with Josh Miller. Foam Lake Flyers, they could have had the perfect season. All 13 leagues, no other team had ran the table, could have had the perfect season. The pesky Watrous Winterhawks on Friday, I think it was Friday, maybe it was Saturday, 6-5, it was Saturday, 6-5, they dumped Foam Lake. No perfect season.
Well, here's the thing, because if they would have carried this into the playoffs, that's the really wrong time to lose. You know what? If you're going to lose, get it out of the way. Like, hey, New England, you found out the hard way, right? You picked the wrong time to lose the first football game of the year. God, I hated the Giants when they did that. Man, they could have been a perfect season.
Helmet catch, David Tyree.
I know. Every time you watch that replay, you're like, just drop it. He's going to drop it.
No, and then how does Eli Manning escape that pressure? Like Eli Manning I would have to look really hard. I'm not even going to say NFL quarterback, pro athlete, any pro athlete that doesn't look like a pro athlete. It is Eli Manning. His demeanor, his mannerisms, everything. Body. I'm like, that guy was a stud NFL quarterback. He was pretty good. He won 2 Super Bowls.
I know.
And I'm like,
he was Tom Brady. He was Tom Brady's kryptonite. And Tom Brady didn't have a lot of kryptonite outside of staying together with the women he has kids with. And he looks like Eli Manning.
He looks like Eli from the IT department, not Eli, the NFL quarterback.
I know.
I don't know. It's okay. So Fulham Lake loses, perfect season. Now they're on to provincials. Now they're on to playoffs. Also, Davidson, they clinched first place in the Sask Valley Hockey League. Doubled up Kenniston, lots of goals, 10-5. Dumped the Kenniston Blizzards, and then Raymore, shout out Rocket Country. They finished first in the Qu'Appelle Valley Highway Hockey League, a 7-2 win over Lumsden. So Raymore gets the first place there. So a little senior chat to wrap things up for you. We talked about it earlier because you talked to, who did you have on? The Flin Flon Bombers play-by-play guy. Hart.
Yes. Yeah, Ryan Hart. Rob Hart.
Rob.
It was Rob. Rob Hart. Called over 1,000 games.
Yeah. Weyburn. Flin Flon, we called it. It was the game of the week. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed. Weyburn in overtime, though. So Flin Flon's record in their last 25 ice hockey games, 22 wins, 0 losses.
In regulation.
In regulation, 2 overtime losses, and 1 shootout loss.
Yes. And Matt Kuiper is 15-0-1. Keeper. How this guy is still not in the Western Hockey League, I don't know. He was out of hockey. It was late October.
And the 20-year-old goalie, that's tough.
I know, but look at all these teams that are desperate in the dub. And they just want to win. And then you've got this guy that comes in and he's just, I hope that something comes out of this for him, because you got to know there's enough NCAA teams looking for goalies. Hey, they want to win as bad as anybody.
Or else he's going to get a boatload of sticks and gas next year in the senior loop somewhere.
He's a 2004 born. He'll be turning 21 here in a little bit.
Yeah, so he would be 20 in the dub. It'd be tough. So maybe an injury came along. He was good for the Regina Pats. But not to overshadow the Weyburn Red Wings, they are on a little bit of a mini heater. 9-1-0-0 in their last 10. 4-game winning streak. SJHL was, it's getting good. It's the MJSJ showcase this week. Benny Walchuk will be by tomorrow to chat about what's going on there and other things in the league. Also, you can go to sportscage.com and see the latest power rankings when it comes to the SJHL. Surprise, surprise, who's in first? Western Hockey League.
LaRange.
Western Hockey League for extreme hockey and
toughest
sport.
Coach in the league. I don't care. Nobody's beaten Kevin Kaminsky in a fight. Sorry. But my money's on Killer. Anytime, anywhere. On the bus, off the bus, in the lobby of the Ramada in downtown Regina, he's winning.
You ever watch
he's the John Jones.
You ever watch the video of when him and I can't remember who at the Washington Capitals like alumni game, maybe like 7-8 years ago, they chucked him? It was like,
oh, really?
Oh yeah, you'll have to go look it up. And it's good. I don't know if it was real, but they were throwing some of those were real. Those are real punches. Yeah, and he was remember him and Ty Domi at the Memorial Cup?
The Memorial Cup. Yeah, that was a good fight.
That is one to look up.
See if the double C's can pull it up. Yeah.
If we
get the double C's.
I think the one C's really mailing it in today. Kevin Kaminsky,
oh, Mr.
Ty
I'm
Domi.
He's eating a California club before the show. He's proud of his sandwich because he paid $4 extra for avocado.
It was delicious. Okay. Why are we chirping what kind of sandwiches I eat? Like, it's good.
look up Kevin Kaminsky Ty Domi Memorial Cup fight. I'll try and if you're watching the stream, you're going to be in for a treat here.
Can you spell that for me?
Kill some time.
Oh my!
Here we go.
Don't know Ty Domi?
You're asking me?
Kevin Kaminsky, Kaminski, and Domi, Domi.
Can you use that in a sentence?
Ty Domi does not put avocado on his toast.
How would you know that?
With a man bun.
Okay.
Can we get Jamarcus Hardrick back in? Yeah.
CCM Vision Sticks have arrived at Extreme Hockey. Western Hockey League report the Pats 3-2 over the Prince Albert Raiders in a shootout. And that was key for the Raiders to come in here and lose one to the, kind of one of the bottom teams in the league. But then PA bounced back with a 4-3 win in Saskatoon on Sunday. Huge 2 points there, because now they're 2 points up on Saskatoon in the standings. The Pats are back in action Wednesday when they travel up to Paradise to take on the Raiders. Medicine Hat 3-2 over Spokane. That was one to watch. That was a game to watch. Medicine Hat, Spokane, two of the best teams in the league. Swift Current, they are rolling on their BC trip. We talked about it earlier. They started in Victoria. If anyone's ever done that popular Swift Current Victoria drive, they're doing that in January. And then they knocked off, after beating Victoria, then they knocked off Vancouver 3-2. And then next, it gets better. They go to Prince George. Poor
And then
guys.
they'll come back down, do the Kamloops Kelowna, and then head her back home. Yeah.
That's a swing.
Yeah.
That's a swing.
Did they find that Domi Kaminsky fight yet?
No.
Oh, maybe we'll save this for doubles after the top
blue, just go and get it.
Well, it's called
Let me go
YouTube,
into my old
okay?
archives over here.
Dial up.
It's
okay. Colson's telling us we got a break.
YouTube.
Colson's telling us we got a break. Anyway, maybe we can get it during the break. It's the Sports Cage. We're streaming at sportscage.com.
CoolBet has all the hot games. For all the free-to-play casino games, head to coolbet.co. They've got sports odds, including Saskatchewan senior hockey, plus all the sports odds you can think of. From the ice to the field to the court, CoolBet has you covered. All at your fingertips. No risk, just thrill. So why wait? Get in the game and embrace the unexpected at coolbet.co.
We want your business on board for the Harvard Media online auction. It's easy. All you've got to do is provide items like gift cards, experiences, services, or whatever cool product you have. And in exchange, we'll give you a world-class marketing campaign. No entry fee or cash outlay. Just a good old trade deal. That hammer could be coming down for you. Just hit up harvardmedia.com and join in on all the excitement. Terms and conditions apply.
Been there, done that. We get it. And we've got something great for you. The Great Bin Giveaway on 620 CKRM. We're giving you the chance to win a 100-ton fertilizer bin from Core Grain. All you have to do is be listening to find out which sponsor locations you can enter at, all across southern Saskatchewan. You'll also have some chances to qualify during Saskag Today with Ryan Young. The grand prize draw will take place at Egg in Motion this July. Don't miss out on your chance to have a shot at the Great Bin Giveaway on 620 CKRM.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it. I don't even know.
That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
Bidding is now open for the large timed online land auction for Laborde Enterprises near Stoughton and Mydale, Saskatchewan. Register to bid at macauctioncompany.com. Up for auction are 23 quarter sections of farmland and oil surface revenue in the arms of Simri and Tecumseh. Got land to sell? Call the Saskatchewan Land Auctioneers today. Bidding closes on the Laborde land this Tuesday, January 28th at 10 a.m.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Man, I love when people chime in on the text line. There is a game tonight, 7:45. So the Saskatoon Quakers in the Junior B League, they got a weekend in Regina. Boys were buzzing, I'm sure. 7:45. Capitals, Quakers, Al Ritchie. Be sure the popcorn's fresh. They got a good little concession next time you're in town. I'm gonna take you for supper. Matthew Keeper, Benny in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I don't say Winnipeg. He's in Manitoba, right? No, he's in Winnipeg. So why did they go to Silver Heights? Matthew Keeper, good Winnipeg boy, Winnipeg lad. Yes, he is. Tried to get him on the show last week, but he went and hung out with his billets. Nice kid. Came back, hung out with his billets, went and watched his billets kid play minor hockey. Oh, speaking of that, there's a big game tonight. I got to give a shout out to these guys. 8 p.m. Cooperators, C5 maybe, whatever rink they can smuggle their own beer into. The dads will all be doing that. It's a provincial round 2, Bantam A, Royals, Shamrocks. It's going to get real. They don't get along. We're going to get it on because we don't get along. Isn't that an old wrestling term? Big wrestling guy. Okay, we got Kaminsky and Domi. Okay, if you're watching the stream, you are in for a treat. This is the boom. This is the worst video you could have found. There they go.
There's a better, is there a sound for this?
There's a close-up one. This one was shot from the moon. Kaminsky's in blue, Domi's in white, and they're just it was a Memorial Cup. So they knew that Ty Domi was one of the big heavyweights out of the OHL that was going to end up playing in the NHL, even though he was smaller. And Kaminsky went anybody. It didn't matter. And he scored goals for the Blades. Yeah. There is a different angle. Good job, Curtis. I'm not criticizing you.
Beggars can't be choosers.
I know.
Remember that saying?
Beggars can't be avocado toast. No, I know you did a good job. You did a good job.
Guacamole on my sandwich. Okay?
I've never
Just for the record.
I've never even seen that view from high up there.
No. Yeah, I've always seen it was down low. Hey, I don't want to bring the party down. I don't know if you guys just saw this on social media. It's bad news. Because I have memories as a kid going with my dad. All PV Mart locations are closing in Canada. I hate these announcements. And that's all the world's been filled with in the past 5 years. Businesses shutting down just everywhere. So today it was announced that PV. There was rumblings about some stores in Ontario, but all 90 stores in Canada, I guess, are going to be closing down. I loved going to the PV Mart with my dad.
What's the difference between PV Mart and Princess Auto?
Well, PV Mart sells
Animal
everything.
food?
Princess Auto is just more auto parts.
No, Princess Auto's got everything too.
No, they do, but like I said, that's more mechanical. Where PV Mart, you could get rubber boots, you could get plant food, feed, you could get anything, toys,
Colson,
like a jacket,
animal feed, troughs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's always trough season. Okay.
Yeah, I hate these. I hate these announcements. Like it's just
maybe they're getting
you know what?
Maybe they're amalgamating with another company. What's that called when another company buys out a big company?
No, the bit that I read, there is an investment firm that they've partnered with who is now a large percentage of the shareholders who's making decisions to
there we go.
Close things up.
Yeah, let's don't even get me started on bad decisions. That's too bad. Yeah, good. I've never shopped at one, but I know that it's kind of a soup to nuts, as my mom would say.
Yeah.
Right?
I cooked up a crazy. When you had Mace on a few weeks ago, did you get his cell phone number? Because if you did, we need to text him something. Because I've cooked up a crazy scenario in my head because of some news today coming from the Calgary Stampeders. They have released James Vaughters and Mike Rose, both defensive ends and D-line. They would have been there under the Mace era. And to me, I think they're really good players. I've always liked both of them. Vaughters left for a while and went to the NFL, came back, so they're going to be kicking around. I wonder if there's anything there. Because it's a free agency in CFL. We'll ask Darian. We'll ask Darian what he thinks of Rose and Vaughters. Because he would know a good D end and a good D
news
lineman.
out of Rider Camp today. They signed Super Bowl and Grey Cup winning defensive lineman Shane Ray. And then to your point, you think that's kind of probably writing on the wall that we're not getting Anthony Lanier back.
Well, Jeremy O'Day said like 3 weeks ago, there's no way you're re-signing all your free agents. It just doesn't happen in the world of sports anymore. There's only so much money to go around, and guys are going to get raises, and you have to move on. I think with Lanier, if he could have been healthy and played full seasons for us, but he was maybe 11, 12, 13 games the past couple of years, and we were paying him really good money. And eventually you just got to make those decisions. So maybe they do, but a signing like this makes me think that maybe Anthony Lanier is not going to be offered a free agent deal with the Riders.
We will see. And then Winnipeg releasing Wolodarski. Where will he end up? For about 110 grand a year? Edmonton?
It's weird. Here we go. Here's a better view of it.
We're talking
Kaminsky.
football.
So Kaminsky, I know, but
we're talking football, and people are like watching the stream, and it's Ty Domi and Kevin Kaminsky from the 89
fighting.
Memorial Cup. Oh, it was. Keep that on file. Might run that every day.
Yeah,
for the next week.
It's in the Rolodex now, so now it's not actually a joke anymore. I'll be like, okay, I can grab it.
You did good. You did good, kid.
It was all Coulson.
Time for a break. We're up against news. Darian Durant comes up in hour 3. It is the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com.
620 CKRM, a Harvard media station, broadcasting from Regina, around the world at 620CKRM.com.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. It's partly cloudy and it's -3 in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound at Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. A 48-year-old from Dinsmore was killed in a single-vehicle rollover crash near Moose Jaw. The crash happened last Saturday night on Highway 1 near Parkbeg. The driver was the only person in the car and was pronounced dead by EMS at the scene. The investigation into the crash is continuing. Some good news from Saskatchewan's invasive species monitoring program. Last year, there were no zebra mussels, quagga mussels, or spiny water fleas found in the province. The program tested more than 450 samples from water bodies across Saskatchewan. The Provincial Environment Ministry also inspected more than 3,500 watercraft and intercepted and decontaminated 6 that were carrying invasive mussels. Ottawa is continuing its plans to boost border security as U.S. President Donald Trump continues his threats of tariffs across Canada. Public Safety Minister David McGuinty says Canada's response involves political outreach, official outreach, and operational outreach.
So we're making huge progress. This plan is a plan which is, of course, international between Canada and the United States, but it's also a plan between different orders of government in this country. We've reached out to and engaged every single province in the country.
U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chair James Risch says there are other areas around defense and the economy that Trump will also want to see Canada take action on. The head of the union representing Canada Post workers says she's skeptical of the Crown Corporation's financial reporting. Canada Post and the union squared off today at a federal inquiry regarding the month-long strike late last year. CUPW President Jan Simpson says Canada Post just wants to control its employees.
Canada Post already has a recruitment and retention problem because it cannot guarantee hours nor offer a predictable schedule. And its proposed new workforce model will not help solve this issue. It will only aggravate it. The union has made it very clear that we will not support a model that relies too much on part-time workers to increase its stake in the delivery sector.
The federal government recently announced it will provide a $1 billion loan to Canada Post to help it continue operating. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is in Krakow, Poland, as world leaders gather to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau. Canadian press reporter David Baxter says this will be one of Trudeau's last international trips as Prime Minister.
Here, the main goal of the day is to really just listen to Holocaust and Auschwitz survivors, to hear their stories. That's why world leaders from around the globe are here in Poland right now to hear these stories, because they aren't going to be around for much longer, as it is the 80th anniversary, and most of the survivors are in their 90s at this point. Trudeau also announcing funding for Holocaust and anti-Semitism education initiatives across Canada as part of this trip.
Trudeau spoke with 2 Canadian survivors of Auschwitz who also traveled to Poland for the event. It's 5:03, and that's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620CKRM.com. Your weather is next.
Oh, finally. There it is.
Oh, did you order pizza?
No, even better. I called Echo Sound, your Saskatchewan authorized dealer.
Oh, so what'd you order?
Well, they have all the top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features and so many great plans, man.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it is the pizza guy. Hey, guy.
Tell him to go away. We're waiting on Echo Sound.
Echo Sound, your Sasktel authorized dealer in Fort Quipel. EchoSound.ca.
We'll still take the pizza, though.
CoolBet has all the hot games. For all the free-to-play casino games, head to coolbet.co. They've got sports odds, including Saskatchewan senior hockey, plus all the sports odds you can think of. From the ice to the field to the court, CoolBet has you covered. All at your fingertips. No risk, just thrill. So why wait? Get in the game and embrace the unexpected at coolbet.co.
I'm Corey Atkinson with your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast, brought to you by Linex Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street. And for Croft Electric, 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all electrical needs. CroftElectric.com and all socials. Now, here's Precision Weather meteorologist Steve Adamson.
The winds will be picking up tonight, and we'll be looking at kind of a gusty day about the area tomorrow as well, before the winds settle down somewhat into tomorrow night. Partly cloudy conditions tonight, and the winds on the increase, gusting to 50 out of the northwest later. The low temperature near -6. It could rise a little bit late. Tuesday, windy with a mixture of sunshine and cloud cover. Wind gusts to 55, the high near 1. Tuesday night, increasing cloudiness, the low temperature near -2. The winds will be decreasing. On Wednesday, cloudiness, some in and out sun, the high near -1. Thursday, a mixture of sunshine and cloud cover, the high about -3. Somewhat colder on Friday with mostly cloudy skies, possibly some light snow developing. The high near -8, the chance of snow is 50%. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather Meteorologist Steve Adamson.
Across our province at this hour, Saskatoon is -1, Swift Current -1, Assiniboia -1, Broadview Moosomin -2, Yorkton Melville 0, Estevan -2, and Weyburn is -1. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's partly cloudy, winds from the southwest at 22, and it's 0. Regina is also partly cloudy, winds are from the southwest at 15, and it's -3. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
A few years ago I was doing okay, but the rising cost of living has made my credit card bills go through the roof, and I don't know how to handle that anymore.
Times are tough right now. The cost of living is causing many to fall into debt through no fault of their own. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and stressed, but there are options that can help you get back on your feet. My name is Jasmine Brown, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee. I can help you find a solution to become debt-free right here in Regina. Visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar. 35 years of experience moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit KELLNsolar.com to find out more for your livestock operation. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
One more hour in the books. Barney Schinker, Chris Mazurek, CNC Music Factory on the other side of the board here, getting things done. Don't forget, if you're going to watch NHL hockey this evening, probably want to do it at the Canadian Brew House, because they got $9.99 dry ribs, cracked pepper and sea salt dry ribs. Oh, yeah. $1.50 off tankards and Michelob Ultra as well. 2 locations in Regina, 1 in Moose Jaw. Okay, so and we did clear it up. Don't forget, there is local hockey around the area tonight. There is a Junior B game. Totally threw me for a loop. Saskatoon stayed in town, the Quakers and the Regina Capitals. 7:45 at the Al Ritchie. Don't eat. Pick up a hot dog and French fry there.
So in the jungle or Junior B, when you're on a three-day roadie, is there a per diem? Or this is Junior B, kid. If your parents didn't load up your bank card, if your parents didn't load up your bank card, I don't know what to tell you. But this is not the NHL. We're not staying at the Four Seasons, okay?
There'd be the guys that are the leading scorers and like the older guys in the league. It's like, how come those guys always have money? And then like the rookie guys, it's like, yeah, calling mom and dad in Alvina. Can you maybe transfer some money onto that card you gave me? No, but 7:45 on that one. And then AAA, that's a makeup game. Regina Pat Canadians, great music at those games. Notre Dame Hounds, 8 p.m. at the Sixer. And then over on Sheet 5 at 8 p.m., got to give another shout-out to these guys. Bantam A, Royal Shamrocks Provincials, Round 2, Game 1. Kellen Enslev, who co-hosts this show once in a while, he coaches the Shamrocks. He's one of the coaches.
Can I ask why on a Monday night? Why on a Monday night are you guys starting games at 8 o'clock when everybody's got to go to work and school? Start at 7. What about 6:30?
Don't get me started on ice time and availability and everything in this city because we only have an hour left. We got Darian Durant coming up. He is on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Speaking of eating tonight, you get free delivery, anything over $25 at Western Pizza Express. You're driving home right now, you're thinking about how good that pizza is and all the Greek favorites. I'm not cooking. Western Pizza Hotline. Darian Durant joining us. Okay, Maz, are we going to start CFL? And then, because my blood pressure, I don't want it to get started the show, come down a bit. Let's start CFL first off. You wanted to ask him.
First of all, we're going to start with Darian. You were on the injured list last week. Are you feeling better? Can we put you back in the starting lineup? Do we got to get you a shot in the training room before the interview? Like, what are we doing here? Like, are you good to go?
Yeah. I have to go in and get the cortisone. I have to get numbed up a little bit because it was a pretty severe hit. I took a pretty severe hit and put me down for a second. But with a little bit of cortisone, I'm good to go and ready for the second half.
Nice. So what are we starting? What are we doing? Are we starting NFL, CFL?
You wanted to ask him about the Calgary guys.
Okay, so here's the thing, Darian, and you watched a lot of football, and I don't know if these guys would have been playing when you were still playing, but today the Calgary Stampeders just released Mike Rose and James Voddards, D-end and D-line. And to me, I always like them as Stampeders, and if they're going to be shaking free, what did you think of them when they were playing? I thought they were good guys, and valuable guys.
Yeah, I think they both are very, very good players. They both can get after the quarterback, and more than anything, they're more of your heavier type defensive end, so they're solid against the run game. I think with this move, Calgary's just looking to get more speed. They're looking to get faster, get some guys on defense who can cause some havoc and get after the quarterback. So I think this is a good move because you need turnovers and you need guys to have double-digit sacks. I think if you look across the league in general has just been down in sacks. So Calgary's trying to go in that direction.
How about this signing today by the Riders? Shane Ray comes in. The guy's got a Super Bowl ring. He's played.
Yeah.
He's got a Super Bowl ring and a Grey Cup ring. Good signing on the D-line for the Riders or what?
We'll see. I think we'll see. I mean, he's 31 years old. We'll see how much gas he has left in the tank. Usually, especially for defensive ends, unless you're a Charleston Hughes or Odell Willis type guys who've been at it consistently, you tend to slow down in your 30s as a defensive end. So we'll see. I think that, there's definitely potential there. He doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on his body because he's been traveling a lot and, bouncing around from team to team. So if he has that spark there, if he has that jump, I think it'll be a great signing for the Riders.
So in like a week's time, the the legal tampering period will start for CFL free agents. And I want to get to your CFL free agent tampering experience. I don't know. Maybe you're removed long enough and you don't care.
2020 it started.
But so here's my top 3 free agents if I'm playing general manager of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Now keep in mind, I'm not worried about money because we'll make it up at the gate, and when we win the Grey Cup, there's nothing but pats on the back and the money flows in. So, and keep in mind, this is going to change our team dynamic too, how we construct a roster. So Gino Lewis is number 1. It's our wide receiver that Darian said we needed from the very first time we had him on the radio, and legit number 1 wide receiver. Then I'm going Tyrell Ford for our secondary from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, free agent, Canadian, going to change the ratio. And then Jake Serezna, another D-end, a Canadian, who had an okay year in Toronto last year, but was really good with the Eskimos. Once again, Canadian, allowing us to change the ratio. Darian, if you're controlling the purse strings from the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who's your top free agent coming off the board if you get to spend the money?
Well, you said it. The first guy, and I love this guy, and that's Eugene Lewis. He's just a game changer. It doesn't matter where you are on the field. You have to respect him as a defense. And, sometimes he's double covered. He's the best 50-50 ball guy in the league. And he's just a game changer from, the first quarter on. I love Gino Lewis. And next, I'm going to go with a sleeper guy, and a guy I think that could really, really change the game for the Riders, and that's Janarion Grant. And, that's not to say I don't love Mario Alford. I do. I think he's a great player. But there's just something special about Grant. Even when he was with Winnipeg, he was just a game changer. He could flip the field at any given time. I think the Riders need playmakers. I mean, I want to see them score more points. I want to see them jump ahead of teams. And I want to see teams have to come back from behind against the Riders. So I think you need playmakers across the board. And what better way to do it with Gino Lewis on offense and Janarion Grant at special teams. And he showed in the Grey Cup that you can make packages for him on offense, and he can make plays there as well. So I love Janarion Grant.
What's he worth in your mind? If we could play, if it's a Monopoly or a video game, Stratomatic football, what would he be worth in your mind, Darian, cash-wise?
You know what? I'm not sure what returners are making these days. I would say, between 125 and 175, somewhere in that range, I think will be good for a guy like that. I mean, look, touchdowns are hard to come by. And whenever you can find guys that can score touchdowns and put points on the board, these guys are game changers. And sometimes you don't really need to look at your pocketbook, and you need to look at what a guy can do for your team. You can structure deals. You can get things done to take care of players. But whenever you have these type of playmakers in free agency, I think you can be pretty creative and try to get these guys on board.
One of the things I thought when we chatted a couple of weeks ago, because we were talking about staying within the salary cap and being fiscally responsible, nobody ever cares or remembers. They only remember winning. So in 2013, I'm not sure if the Saskatchewan Roughriders were over the salary cap. And as a fan, I don't care. We won the Grey Cup. The memories last forever. The minutia and the fine point details of that are kind of like, because you know this. You're judged in sports by championships. How many you win, or Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills, how many you may never win. So, and winning is kind of all what we care about. Do you think that the Riders are going to be dipping heavy into the free agents this time around? Because some teams don't. Where do you think the Riders are going to make a splash?
I think so. I really do. I mean, ticket sales were down. I think you want to get the fans back engaged and feeling really, really good about where you are as a team. And, whenever you have a chance to win, that window is small. And I feel like the window is kind of closing on the Riders. You have Trevor Harris getting up there in age. There's a time limit on all groups and all teams that you put together. And I think for this team, the way it's been built, you have to go in. You have to go all in now. And you look at Winnipeg. I think they're, maybe on their last leg with this group that they have. They're going to go all in with. And you have to be able to compete. I mean, Nathan Rourke is back in BC. Vernon Adams is going to Calgary, and I think Edmonton will be better as well. So, you have to stack the team. You have to make sure you have guys in place to compete with these teams, and you better go all in now, and because everyone seems strong in the West, and it's going to be tough to get out of the West if you can't put points on the board.
How hard is it, Darian? And I don't know how they scout, and I don't know what camps they go to. We have the Combine coming up here. How difficult is it in 2025 to find a diamond in the rough somewhere in the United States? Like, I know it's kind of like up here with senior hockey. Like, guys still play down there locally. There's men's leagues and all that. Am I holding out hope? Like, are there some guys that maybe fell through the cracks? Maybe it was an attitude thing. Maybe it was a legal whatever. Are there guys out there that can be found like that?
You know what? I think you can. You have to do your due diligence. You have to have a lot of scouts in place at some of these free agent camps and all-star games. There's some all-star games going on in the NCAA right now where there's some guys who just won't get an opportunity in the NFL and could potentially be great CFL players. So you have to have the right staff as far as scouts go. You have to have everyone on the same page, and you have to have a design plan looking at specific positions and knowing what you need to improve your team. I don't think you need to go and just look at all players. I think you need to look at your team specifically and see what you need to improve on, and then go after those guys year after year.
All right. Are we going to switch gears to the NFL? Because right around, it was around Thanksgiving in October, and we had you on, and you said there's something special about this Jaden Daniels. He's just got it all. Yeah. You had said, just watch, like he's going to get better. And then how it played out. Now, Cinderella stories usually end with them hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. To me, I think Washington and the Jaden Daniels story was a Cinderella story for what they were able to achieve. You called it. So what did you see back then that we all see now? What was that one thing that you saw in him?
It's something called it and the it factor. I mean, there's nothing specifically that you can just pinpoint about his game and say, oh, well, he's just head and shoulders above the other quarterbacks in this specific category. It's just that when you get into a game and you have to make plays and, you have to make throws under pressure, he can throw from all arm angles. He can, he runs fast enough to get away from DBs. I mean, he just has that it factor, and it's just something you can't coach. And it's something that, I don't want to give myself too much credit, but being a quarterback and kind of believing that I had the it factor, I wasn't a wow guy, but I just had, enough to get it done. And I can kind of see that in him. And I saw it early on. I saw it at LSU, and I knew that, when he could get with a coach like Dan Quinn and OC like Cliff Kingsbury, they can bring out the best in him. So, he's going to be a special player. And once he gets more weapons around him, you're going to have to watch out for this Washington team.
Okay. Do you want to go back? Do you want to go to that game, Maz, or can we go to the other one?
Well, let's start there. Now, keep in mind, Darian, yesterday, the turnovers did the Commanders in. They didn't help themselves, but when Philly scores on the very first play on offense, a 60-yard touchdown, I think a lot of us thought it could be a long day for Washington. Philly looked dominant. They looked they finally, Jaden, everybody, it all came together. They looked so good.
Yeah, I mean, I said it. I said this when they acquired Saquon Barkley, and this is the kind of the same, vision I have for the Saskatchewan Roughriders is that when you can get explosive playmakers and guys that can make game-changing plays, you become such a dominant team and a dangerous team that, you put not only do you put physical pressure on other teams, but just mentally knowing that you have to score with this team, it puts that mental pressure on you as well. So, Saquon Barkley, he's a once-in-a-generation type back. You pair him up with, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown outside and Jalen Hurts. And no one really even talks about their defense. They have the number one ranked defense in the NFL. They gave up a little bit over 17 points a game. But because of how special Saquon Barkley and that offense is, you really don't even talk about the defense as much, and they're the best in the league. So Philly's a dangerous team, and, I'm actually picking them to win. I think that they have enough firepower, even though I love Mahomes and I think it's his time and we're in the Mahomes era. Well, in the Brady era, a guy snuck a couple Super Bowls in, here and there as well, and I think this will be one that Philly gets in, under Patrick Mahomes' watch.
Oh, yoy. Here we go. What is Buffalo doing? Like, how bad did Buffalo get out-coached yesterday? Like, that he's going to probably blitz there. Yeah, he hasn't blitzed all day, so you can't come up with a better play for Josh Allen than, hey, scramble around, throw up a prayer, and then okay, so let's start with that. Like, Darian, you got it. Like, it's all hands on deck here. Like, this is it. You got to be prepared for a blitz there, don't you?
Absolutely. And I mean, you could hear Tony Romo on the on the commentary, and you just know Spags. Like, the type of D coordinator he is. He's going to pressure you. There's no way he'll let you sit back and be able to just try to pick apart and find your guy. There's no way. So every play you call in that situation, the very first thing you have to be prepared for is blitz. And where's my hot read? And where do I go in case I'm outnumbered? And, you wouldn't think that a corner blitz is coming at a time like that. You would think because, he's a heavy linebacker, up the middle blitz guy. So great job by him of switching things up and blitzing a corner on that play. But if you're the Buffalo Bills, you have to have a blitz throw ready and something ready where you can get rid of the ball. Now, even with that being said, Josh Allen makes a play and, the tight end doesn't come up with the catch. So Josh Allen did all he could, and he bought himself some time. He knew he had a receiver downfield, and he made a play, and he gave his receiver a chance. So, but even though it didn't look good to us at home, I mean, these are NFL guys, and he made a play, and you got to come down with that catch.
Okay, as a quarterback that's played in huge games, Josh Allen looked so puckered up early in that game. He looked like a rookie. The nerves. He was overthrowing guys. The reads weren't there. Were you shocked? And did you see a little bit of nerves or a lot of nerves from him early?
I did. And, before the game, there was a lot of talk about Josh Allen and how he's not really putting the ball in harm's way this year. He's being so much smarter with his decisions and, protecting the ball. And then in the first quarter, he's just, I think, the Kansas City Chiefs defensive backs got their hands on two balls back-to-back and, nearly picks. So, yeah, you could just feel like the atmosphere was a little bit too much. Maybe it's the aura of Pat Mahomes and being in Arrowhead Stadium and knowing that you have to make so many plays in that place to beat that team. Maybe the pressure got to him a little bit. But, just like all good quarterbacks, he settled in. He made some huge throws. He made some great decisions, and he put his team in an opportunity. He gave them an opportunity to win, and that's all you can ask for. So even though he started off slow, he showed the fight and the grit that you would want to see from a franchise guy, and he gave his team a chance in a tough environment.
So one of the things that I didn't like, especially in the first half, because you didn't have to be chasing points, when they did score, they're going for two, kick the singles, because if this comes down to a close game, 1 or 2 points is probably going to be the difference, and which it would have ended up being, because even if Josh Allen, if we're being honest, drove the field and got them into field goal range and they kick a field goal, I still, if they go to overtime, have a feeling that Patrick Mahomes and those guys just do what they do and they go down and they win. And it's too bad that I'd mentioned this earlier when Barney and I were chatting, that Josh Allen may go down as a Dan Marino, really good guy, good statistics, just may never, ever win one. It's not his fault. He's in the Patrick Mahomes era, and maybe that is going to be his kind of kryptonite. Barney's dropping his head. That's so funny.
I don't want to say that about him. I don't want to compare him yet because he's getting there, right? Like every year he's putting that team in position to play deep in the playoffs, and he's doing that. So, I mean, with a break here or there, I think they'll I think they'll make it. I think, like I said, when Brady played, a couple guys squeezed out a couple Super Bowls, and I think, like I said, Philly will get this one, and I think down the road, Buffalo will break the curse, and Josh Allen will, before that new stadium is up, he'll help out that city for sure.
Okay, what do you think that we are going to see coaching changes on the Buffalo side? And then secondly, why do they have to make everything so difficult? How come everyone else can figure out this tush push or close reasonably, the same thing, but they can't do it. And it was Tony Romo, I think, that said he's going to sneak it to the left side. He sneaks it to the left side. And Kansas City knew it. Like, what? I don't understand. Like, are we going to see coaching changes? And why do they have to make everything so difficult in Buffalo?
You know what, man? It's so hard to get this, to be consistent in the NFL and to consistently have your team in the playoffs. So I'd be careful with just making coaching changes when, you're hot right now. You just lost a tough game, so you don't want to make any spur-of-the-moment decisions that could hurt your franchise. Like I said, it's hard to win, so I wouldn't look at any coaching staff changes in Buffalo. I think you just learn from your mistakes. And more importantly than anything, you need to win more games in the regular season. You need to try to get that AFC Championship game at home. The ghost of Patrick Mahomes and that place in Arrowhead, no one's going to win there. And, unless you're Brady. So if you can have a better regular season and win some more games and win the games you're supposed to win, then you can get that AFC Championship at home, and then you give yourself a better chance.
It's funny, I was reading this today. The only two quarterbacks to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, Tom Brady, as you just mentioned, and one, Joe Burrow. So, Darian, I know we're 2 weeks out or 13 days out, New Orleans for the Super Bowl. With you being in Florida, I'm not sure if you're making a roadie. If you are, call it. We could probably get flights. I'm just putting it out there. Do you think, now Kansas City, they're not the high-flying offense anymore. I know it's early for predictions, but do you think Kansas City can match the Philly firepower that they're putting up these days with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley?
I don't. I just think that the way Philly's running the ball now, their mentality, and just how special Saquon Barkley is, I'm not sure that Kansas City's built to just come from behind. And I think Philly will put so much pressure on that Kansas City defense to stop the run. And when you do that, you have two of the best receivers on the outside in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So I just think that Philly is just, it's one of those issues where they'll look at their books at the end of the season and they won't worry about all the guys that they're paying because they'll have a Super Bowl. And, they went all in for this year. And I think it was a smart move because they're the most explosive offense that we've seen. And, you just can't say enough about that defense as well. They don't get talked about. They have some of the best interior defensive linemen, especially with Jalen Carter. And, they're a great team overall. So I think this is their year, and it's their time to sneak in one of those Super Bowls in the Pat Mahomes era.
Okay, you got one more, Matt?
90%. I 90% agree with Darian, but the only thing that I'm going to say is that a lot of people have counted out Chris Jones and the Kansas City defense. And is that him that they show when the national anthem plays with the tear running down his cheek all the time? That always gets me. That always gets me. And then Chris Jones just goes on the field and wrecks defense and wrecks offenses. He just wrecks offenses. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's still Kansas City, right? It's still the defending champs. They're fighting for history as well, the first team to ever win 3 in a row. So it's a lot at stake, and that's what makes this game so good. It's going to be one of the best Super Bowls we've seen in a while.
Okay, last question. What the hell is Jerry Jones thinking?
Hey, Darian Sandberg, don't poke him in the ribs.
Man. Continuity. That's the only thing I can say is just continuity, man. He needs a coach that he can
manipulate,
coach over. We all know who the head coach is in Dallas, and it's not the guy on the sidelines on game day. It's Jerry Jones, and he runs the show. And every head coach he brings in, he's going to want to have his hand in the pot at all times, and I don't want to use the word puppet, but it's kind of like a puppet, when you put your hand inside and he's talking for you. So that's what's going on here with the Schottenheimer hire. And, I don't like it. I thought he would go for a little, some younger blood and, start over a little bit, but it's hard to do that in Dallas. The fan base is just too rabid, and they're ready for wins now, and they have high expectations. So you can't really start over there.
Can we use the word marionette? Darian, thanks for battling through the cold again and hopping on.
No problem, guys.
Yeah, right on. We'll talk to you next Monday. That's our legend, Saskatchewan Roughrider football.
Did you pull out a thesaurus to figure that out? The marionette reference?
No. I would have never spelt it correctly though. Correct spelling of marionette. Man, marionettes are cool. They're freaky looking. They're cool. But come on, you had if you sent a spaceship down and they watched football for half the year, and you had Mike
why
McCarthy.
Is it called football? You don't use your feet.
You had Mike McCarthy, and then you have Schottenheim. The kid?
Is it Brian Schottenheimer?
Brian, yeah.
Yeah.
You have what are you doing? What are you? Hey, I don't care. I'm far from a Dallas Cowboys fan, but Jerry, you only got a few spins left, bud.
But at this point,
Dak Prescott's just soaking you.
I know.
Funny to watch.
And the other thing, too, is the CeeDee Lamb, who's a really good receiver, but sooner or later, if the losing continues, he's going to want out. He's going to be... Oh, what was the best stat we saw yesterday? Maybe this was on the internet, because this wouldn't have been on, the CBS broadcast.
CBS wanting us to watch that new show, Watson?
No. Okay. Tyreek Hill had more newborn kids this past season than he did touchdowns. He had 5 kids with, I think, 5 women, and he only had 4 touchdowns. And I'm like, that, my friend, is incredible.
Where did you see this? That wasn't
on the internet.
CBS.
And what? I know. I was on Twitter. It had to be. Get Double C's to check the facts. I'm sure we pull it up. He only scored 4 touchdowns this season. But I think he had 5 kids.
Oh.
He has multiple kids. It's like Elon Musk has 9 or 10 kids with 4 or 5 different women.
That's a stat. If we had stat of the day, that would be it. Right there. Can we go to break on that news?
I'm gonna Google Tyreek Hill touchdowns.
And then Google marionette. It's the all new Sportscage streaming at sportscage.com.
Been there, done that. We get it. And we've got something great for you. The Great Bin Giveaway on 620 CKRM. We're giving you the chance to win a 100-ton fertilizer bin from Core Grain. All you have to do is be listening to find out which sponsor locations you can enter at, all across southern Saskatchewan. You'll also have some chances to qualify during Saskag Today with Ryan Young. The grand prize draw will take place at Egg in Motion this July. Don't miss out on your chance to have a shot at the Great Bin Giveaway on 620 CKRM.
It's time to turn up the heat on trades at Crestview. For a limited time, get a $2,500 trade-in bonus on any trade-in. We're going to work to get you the same or similar payment to what you got right now. And we got something for everybody. Over 200 brand new vehicles, Jeeps, Rams, Caravans, and so much more. Plus, Capital's 100K giveaway is back in Crestview. Check out capital100k.ca for your chance to win. We're turning up the heat on trades at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
Dad, I've got a problem.
Let me guess. The solution's in my wallet?
very funny, Dad. We need better internet.
Look, son, when I was younger...
When you were younger, the dinosaurs still roamed the earth. Can we get wireless internet, or is that too hip for you?
I'll have you know, Junior, that I've already been to Glasser's TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer. Wireless internet is on the way.
You might be more hip than I thought, Dad.
Contact Glasser's TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Moosomin today.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
At Western Pizza, you can order online. Nothing overly crazy about that, right? But you also get free delivery on orders over $25 for a limited time. Now that is kinda crazy. Pizza, Caesar salad with satisfying garlic toast, baked lasagna, crispy chicken wings, and every other item on their extensive menu. Visit westernpizzaexpress.ca and get free delivery today. Western Pizza, big on toppings, big on taste.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
The all-new Sports Cage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
Hey, Maz, we got to go out on the text line here. Thanks to everyone who's been chiming in. There's some good ones here. Benny in Winnipeg. Princess Auto. Good Winnipeg company, eh, Barnes? I guess. Okay, so we mentioned the hockey in the area tonight. There's a Junior B game that threw me for a loop. Saskatoon, Regina Capitals, Extreme Hockey Capitals, 7:45 at the Ritchie. And then at the Sixer, Notre Dame Hounds, Pat Canadians, 8 p.m. Luke Walters, who usually does the music at the Pat C's game. I gave him a plug earlier saying that the music at the Pat C's game is really good. If you go, you get a little bit of everything. He said, what does he say? Tuning in while on my way back to the Garlic Curtain. Barney may have to spin tunes tonight at the C's game. Oh, that could be done, actually. I'm going to go watch the Bantam A provincial game, Royals and Shamrocks, 8 p.m. at the 5, C5. And then we just had somebody else chime in. Game of the night, U18B provincials, Mustangs Buffaloes. CKRM's own Dave Thomas will be manning the forward gate for the Mustangs. Where is that game, though? It's got to be at the Cooperators. There's no way they're playing U18 at one of the city. Actually, I wouldn't put anything past them. And the Ritchie's been taken care of. Maybe it's at the Wick. The Wick can house a U18 game. It's got to be at Cooperators, though. So thanks for everyone who's sending in the texts. We appreciate it. What were you going to say, Curtis?
I was just going to give you some suggestions for tunes to spin. You obviously got to do one. For
I don't need any of your Kendrick Lamar suggestions.
He's just going to do Roxette the whole night.
Nah,
we already know that.
It'll be heavy 80s and 90s. If you go buy Big Shiny Tunes, go to a pawn shop, go pick up Big Shiny Tunes and dance all the dance mix.
Could you imagine those two in a pawn shop together? Like, if you shop in a pawn shop, you're a certain individual. And
my family, we love pawn shops. When we travel, we go to pawn shops.
Sure, but you got to be a certain character type to go into a pawn shop. You got to be a little tougher, a little rugged. That's not those two. You imagine them?
Have you guys ever been?
They pay 35. They'd pay
$35
$35 for a $15 CD.
A few times in Regina too. I haven't gotten anything, but I've been in several pawn shops.
We go to one in Columbia Falls, Montana. I love Montana, right? Like super redneck. It's awesome. And you go to a pawn shop there, and you can paint the picture. You see a lot of firearms.
Sure. Not
really kind of locked up. You see lots of axes. Different things that can harm individuals.
Speaking of firearms and Americans, so my sister and her husband, they live in Sarasota, Florida, just outside of Tampa. It's like 45 minutes south.
It's been snowing.
So when I'm there, yeah, it crazy snowed. So this was years ago. I I think my sister and her husband were married, but anyways, like we're bonding or whatever. He takes me to the gun range. We're going to go shoot clays. He was so disgusted with my lack of firearm skills. I thought you were a Canadian. You can't handle a weapon? You have zero skills. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I haven't shot clays in a while or ever.
Hey, give me that coho and those pucks. I'll shoot them out of the sky.
So he brought an assortment of weapons, and he downgraded to like the sissiest, least powerful one, so I didn't destroy my shoulder. And his credibility at the gun club he belongs to with the lightweight he brought along. That's embarrassing. Because they're like, Doug, who's that? Oh, it's my brother-in-law from Canada. And after that, like no one else asked. They were like, that display ended fast.
Who brought the sissy? Hey,
exactly.
Hey, kid, you want to chew?
Yeah.
What are you dipping? That's good. I've never gone to a gun range. People do that in Vegas, right? They go up into the mountains and they just fire things into the mountains.
Well, yeah.
I think you can blow things up too if you were to want.
Well, yeah. Like there's that place in Vegas where you go and you're paying for the ammunition. So if you want to shoot an M16, you just go, and the bullets aren't cheap. The ammo is not cheap, but it's Vegas. You can do anything you want there. Have you ever taken a helicopter tour over Vegas?
No. We've thought about it. I'm a little afraid of helicopters. I don't know why.
Me too. Did
I ever tell? Can I tell you a Vegas story that scares the living snot out of me to this day? There's like a lot of them. I was supposed to go to remember you met Kerry, my buddy Kerry. He used to live in Vegas, and I live in Scottsdale.
Yes.
Kerry, they had his stag in Vegas, and this is probably 8 years ago. The kids were little. When my kids were little, I was scared to do anything, thinking that every time I left the house, I was going to die. And so I'm like, hey, we're going to this Kerry stag, golfing in Vegas. It's going to be awesome. I pulled shoot for some reason really late, and I hate being that guy. And I'm so glad I did, because the first thing they did was a surprise skydiving, the whole group.
Oh, no, thanks.
I was sick to my stomach thinking about how I might have just done the jump out of the vehicle and roll thing on the way to Henderson or wherever it was. Oh, I was like, I'm so lucky. I can't do it.
See, you mentioned... Yeah, I don't blame you. And Henderson, that's the sneaky good part. So when you go to Vegas, all you do is get your rental car, go down Warm Spring Road 15 minutes, you're in Henderson. It's where all the good shopping is, it's where the locals live. It's where prices are normal. Because it's nuts.
Silver Knights now.
Silver Knights. They got a nice new rink there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That Galleria Mall is still good. Yeah.
Oh, probably a nice food court. Hey?
Yeah, but it's funny. Down there too, like, business is up, but lots of businesses have closed. Like nobody's recovered from the pandemic. Like there's still lots of
got to go head to head
food court.
Jersey Mike's. That U18B game is at C4. So the Cooperator is just I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have the restaurant and bar open tonight, because it's just full of activity. Pat Canadians are playing in the Sixer. The 5-packs got Royals and Shamrocks, and then 4-bangers got Mustangs, Buffaloes. There'll be lots of dads sneaking in 016s. It's hilarious. It's great night.
If you're
for
starving, the kids are pestering me after the show's over. I got to make Korean barbecue, because that's the least I can do in this family. Apparently, I've been told.
Why not
cook supper? Western
Pizza, free delivery, orders over $25 right now. If you're just joining us and you didn't hear what happened, Rundown Curling. Ryland Kleider joined the show in hour 1. You can go back and listen to it in podcast form. Josh Mattern, Matt Hall, Trevor Johnson. They won the provincials. They're on their way to the Briar in Kelowna, British Columbia. Nancy Martin won her first Viterra Prairie Pinnacle Provincial Women's Curling Championship. 9-7 win over Jolene Campbell. The Martin foursome of Shaylin Stewart, Kadrina Lott, and Colleen Ackerman. They get the ever-popular trip to Thunder Bay for nationals.
All expenses paid, ladies. To stay at the Super 8.
That they're staying at a hotel where the door goes to outside. Thunder Bay.
I was trying to explain to my wife, who's younger than me, who grew up in much more affluent lifestyle than we ever did, about when we would go on vacations and we'd drive everywhere. Like we drove from Saskatoon to Disneyland in 1970 because that's what you did. Nobody flew.
A station wagon?
Of course. And I stayed in the back with the luggage because I have a brother and two sisters. So I was in the back with the luggage because mom sewed this sponge thing. No, of course not. So every hotel you stay at is a motel, right? Because that's all there is. I'm like, well, there wasn't. I said there wasn't. I was explaining to the kids there was no water slides. There was no indoor. Like you would stay in the car. Dad would go check in for the two of them, and then we'd sneak in the dark because that's just what you did. And they're just shocked when I tell the story. I'm like, but this is how we all lived. We didn't know any better. Like we stayed at Circus in Vegas when it was exciting and new.
The motor inns, man, they're like,
yes,
they still have those in northern Montana. So we drive by. I'm like, oh, that's a motor inn. It's, so we did the station wagon. I rode in the back of the station wagon. Sister Carla, the other ones are all older. They didn't come. And I was the oopsie. So I rode in the back all the way to Expo 86. In Vancouver, and we did the same thing. Vacancy, pull in, motel. I remember there was one that had like just an outdoor pool, which was sweet. But then my sister, she still tells this story how, man, my dad was old school, and he, like, I was just like, oh, he's probably like, why do I got a kid? Well, how the heck did I have a kid at this age? And he just wanted to watch horse racing and guzzle. And we remember when that Flintstone Park was in, what was it, Penticton? Somewhere in the Okanagan?
Or Kelowna.
Colson, you're nodding your head?
Flintstone Land.
I've been through
Flintstone
there.
Land.
I don't know if it's still there, but I remember I was really little.
It was epic. And then there was like a water slide park nearby, or it was a water slide park, but there was just unbelievable parks. And my dad drove through the parking lot, let us get out and go and look at it from the fence. Then we had to get back in the station wagon and keep driving. Carla tells that story all the time. Like when Dad pulled over at the Flintstone Park in Kelowna.
I mean, how much would have admission been in the 80s? Maybe for a family less than $20. That's the best. Through the fence.
It was
my wife will get mad if we go to a restaurant and our 13-year-old, like if she wants a nice steak dinner, if I'm like, oh, kids menu, no, and I get the look and I'm like, we didn't grow up that way. We did not grow up that way.
Let's take a quick break. It's the Sportscage streaming at sportscage.com. Can't believe I told that story.
It's Grow Time, Canada's Farm Show Regina, Saskatchewan, presented by Viterra, the premier event for farmers, agribusiness professionals, exhibitors, and sponsors, happening March 18th to 20th, 2025. Featuring a vast trade show with hundreds of companies with special offers, clinics, and learning sessions, along with live entertainment in Young's Equipment Farmhouse Lounge. This is your must-attend spring event. That's March 18th to 20th at Real District. Get your tickets at Canada's Farm Show Regina, SK.com.
For everything hockey, head to Extreme Hockey and Sports. Spring hockey is around the corner. Get fitted to your specs with the best team at Extreme Hockey. Be sure to check out Umbrella Marketing and Tarrington and his team for all your team, corporate, and business needs. Corporate or work event? Check out our custom Yeti and engraving options. Make any occasion a special one. Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street, and the Pro Shop, conveniently located at the Cooperator Center.
Are you afraid of losing your car or home due to debt? Don't let fear or shame hold you back from seeking help. Bankruptcy is not the only option. A consumer proposal can reduce your monthly payments, lower your overall debt, and allow you to keep your assets. My name is Jasmine Brown. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Regina, and I'm here to help you tackle your debt. Take the first step towards regaining control of your finances. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
The all-new Sportscage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
It is for Kellen Solar on Mondays, installing solar in residential and commercial buildings for 35 years. Local and trusted, Kellen Solar. Visit kellensolar.com. You'll see them in Lumsden, Saskatchewan.
If Curtis
Let's
or Colson, guys,
just
go to
in
the
case,
chat.
you missed
I got
it.
picks.
Wayburn?
I got picks in there, Bart, for good.
Go what?
No, I got picks in the chat. If Colson or Curtis, there's a funny meme, and then there's also a picture just to put salt
Fire.
in the wound.
Curtis is getting them uploaded right now. Also, I must say, though, that picture of the park is extremely low resolution, so it won't.
Oh, you guys, okay, we're going there.
Yeah. We'll
Colson,
see what we can
anything
get
in
from
the 80s was Colson. Anything in the 80s was low resolution. There
I'm
was
from
no
the
high
90s.
resolution.
I was also low resolution. I get it. I know dial-up internet. I had to slug through that.
If anyone's streaming, we're going to have a funny. Don't forget, locally tonight, hockey, Junior B at the Ritchie 745, Regina Extreme Hockey Capitals hosting the Quakers. AAA, the Sixer, Pat C's, and Notre Dame. Makeup game, 8 p.m. over at C5, Bantam A. Let's roll. Royal Shamrocks, Game 1, Provincials. And then Dave Thomas's Mustangs. Is that what it is? The Mustangs at the four-banger taking on the Buffaloes, Provincials. Lots of provincial hockey season. Oh, and then, Maz, we talked about it. Senior, Foam Lake could have been the only undefeated team in senior hockey this year in Saskatchewan. But Watrous beat them 6-5 on the weekend. It's over.
We got to give a little bit of a Sasky shout-out here to see what Todd McClellan has done with the Detroit Red Wings in a short amount of time. They're taking on the LA Kings tonight. Like, it's amazing. To me, Todd, and knowing him from Swift Current, just a good dude, and to see he's been a good coach wherever he's gone, and for them to they're playoff contenders now from being nowhere like 5 weeks ago.
They're plus 125 on CoolBet at home against the Kings.
I know.
It's not a bad little way.
They're like 4 points out of a wild card spot. And of course, the big game tonight, Connor McDavid is back, the criminal, from his suspension. Chet Pickard getting the start for the Oilers against Joey Decord for the Kraken.
Kraken have under.
Do we have it yet
this year?
Yeah.
We're trying to
maybe the story of that franchise.
If you missed anything, you can go back and listen to it in podcast form. I would recommend watching it because we also showed two versions of the Kevin Kaminsky Ty Domi fight from the '89 Memorial Cup. There's not a lot of sports shows around that can say that today.
Or that we had to explain to the producer that it's on YouTube and you just got to just type in Ty Domi, Kevin Kaminsky, it'll come up.
How do you spell Domi? I can't. I can't laugh. I can't laugh about two things: spelling people and people's first names. I can't laugh about either of those things, except unless your name's Booger. I never got that one.
Do we have this picture? Like, I did some good work.
You got to do it 24 hours in advance, and then I can get something cooking and whatnot, and you know how it is.
What about the Patrick Mahomes? What about the Patrick Mahomes meme I just sent you?
We actually have a CNC Productions app, so you can pre-order nowadays. You can get it.
No,
on the
this is
App
not
Store
IT.
if you want.
I'm not sending it a ticket. A ticket is to be like, no, I'm going to be lazy and I'm going to watch the work come in and I'm going to ignore the work that needs to be done until I feel like getting to it.
It's -1 right now. It feels like -6 in Regina. I was wondering what the weather was like. It's so dark. Look outside. We're in this stretch of and I'm going to take it because we got this. Actually, this whole week looks nice. -7's our coldest day on Friday.
Yeah. And then Saturday, kind of wintry comes back, but this is good because we've paid the price here over these past 6-7 weeks with some real hard winter.
Yeah, we're going to get a week
notice there's some
cold after that.
Yeah.
If you say please, maybe I'll put up Flintstones Park. Oh, okay.
He's not.
Okay.
I like that shallow please. He's not married. I know that's shallow, please. Yeah, please. Sorry. Can you say sorry? Sorry. That is it.
Yeah.
There it is on the stream.
There's Flintstone Park in Kelowna.
Was
I
it?
looked through the fence.
I'm gonna leave.
Was it worth the wait?
I looked through that
Flintstones
fence.
Bedrock City was a theme park in Kelowna, open from 68 to 98. So when I would have been there, it actually would have been closed. Gates left unlocked. Go and explore.
What a childhood.
I remember that was a highlight. You go to BC and stuff, and you go to Flintstone Land, and
the park was replaced by the McCurdy Corner.
My highlight was going to the Cloverdale racetrack, watching horses run around, picking up old tickets, seeing if anyone threw away a winner. That's how it was. The old school.
Could you imagine? Oh, this is good. This is old, but it's funny. The internet stays undefeated. Remember when Mahomes played Darlene and Roseanne? I can't not laugh every time I see that.
That's a good way to end the show.
That's so good.
That is so good.
Hey, Curtis, Patrick Mahomes has nothing on your perm. No one's calling you Darlene, okay? You still have the best perm on this show.
I don't have a perm.
In a man bun? Yes,
it's
you
all
do.
Natural.
That's a perm if I've ever seen. No, that is a Patrick Mahomes perm.
Is moisture. You know, you got to get like moisturizing shampoo.
Go and listen to anything on the podcast forum. Lots of fun. Eric Francis, Darian Durant, Rylan Kleider. It's been a lot of fun. Chris Mazurek, thanks so much. Colson and Curtis, thanks. We'll be back again tomorrow. Talk to you then.
Howdy, Wood Country Woody here. Last winter, my house was colder than a cast iron toilet and tuck. Brr. So naturally, I went to Wood Country to look at Coltech windows and doors. Turns out, Wood Country's winter book and special